or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
It's time to get thunderstruck during Gossett Mitsubishi's spring sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Ready to get 43 MPG Highway? Check out the 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett, 18610 or $249 a month. Need extra room? 7-passenger seating in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE, 33605 or $399.99 a month. And Gossett Mitsubishi's got sophisticated styling and comfort in 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, 31,200 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage RH005931 MSRP 19110, Outlander RZO 19512 MSRP 34605, Eclipse RZO 10625 MSRP 317, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Need this one, and it could be a tough spot for them, I think, just because of kind of this letdown spot the Tigers find themselves in. I think back to Wake Forest, what happened over the weekend with their big win over Duke. Then you come back with a loss against Notre Dame the other night. So we'll talk a lot about that game and what tonight means. But Brett Norsworthy back with us. He's been out the last 2 days. Some personal days for him. He was in attendance for Arkansas and Vanderbilt a couple nights ago. I want his thoughts on that. But Brett, welcome back. How are you this afternoon?
I'm well, Brian. Good to be with you. Good to be with Johnny. Great to be back. And for the Razorbacks, it was tough sledding the other night in Fayetteville. And for Vanderbilt, they're really bad.
Yeah.
First road win for them all year. But any controversy, any conversation about who is SEC Player of the Year, I think, was wrapped up last night at Thompson Bowling Arena with the Dalton Connect show because he was a one-man band.
Yeah, an incredible season for him, and I think we've had this conversation before. I know I've talked about it a lot with John Harden earlier in the day of Dalton Connect. I think a lot of people who are, in Brett especially, we know it, I think, a lot more is, when you're trying to keep up with college football and all of this college basketball off-season stuff's going on, you miss things. And then same thing with college basketball. When it comes to football, you miss things. And, right now spring training in Major League Baseball is going on, and I'm starting to see, Jared Kelnick is with the Braves now. And, so you miss a lot of things in the off-season just because we're trying to keep up with the sport that's current. And so I think Dalton Connect committing to Tennessee from northern Colorado might have flown under the radar to a lot of people, and then he shows up.
It was the move of the year in the portal world.
Incredible. I mean, just what he has added to this team, what he has done for Rick Barnes' group has been nothing short of amazing, and I think you're absolutely right. I don't think any question for SEC Player of the Year.
And Auburn's defense, it's really salty, and they could not stop him in some of them. And most of the shots, they weren't layups.
No.
They were from way downtown. And in Tennessee, they have a chance in most of the bracketology now potting Tennessee through Memphis.
Yeah, I've started to see that, which I would love that. We talk about a lot of, trying to get that local team to this market. And I mean, you don't want to look up and have, Houston and Kansas State as your two big draws. You would like one of those teams like Tennessee. And so I liked seeing that they're one of the teams that could be here because, I mean, certainly Tennessee's here in Memphis. A lot of people, you mentioned a couple weeks ago, I think a lot of people in Knoxville would rather be in that Charlotte pod. But still, being in the state of Tennessee, we know how many Tennessee fans are in this area. I think it would be great to have them.
They would paint downtown orange and bring the crowd. A lot of the other pods are going to need some local flavor too, because the NCAA tournament sales across the country are a little bit lacking to this point. Regionals are fine. Final Four is fine. Yeah. It's that first weekend with all those games.
Yeah, and so you've got, that Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend. I'm looking to try to see, maybe that, what are we, Friday, Sunday?
Friday, Sunday. 22nd, 24th.
I think I'm going to try to get out there on that Sunday and see some games, but haven't bought tickets yet.
Here's another thing I think that now hurts that first weekend sales. Used to, when everything was kind of CBS, before the TBS, TNT, True TV, bringing in more broadcast windows, when everything was CBS, both that first Sunday and the regional Sunday, you could almost count on it ending, maybe not straight up 6 o'clock in the Central, but pretty close to it, because for the network, 60 minutes.
Oh, wow.
You could almost count on it. Now, we may not get it as much in the Central time zone for a pod, but that West Coast pod, you'll have Sunday night games.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those weekends. I mean, maybe something tipping like at 7:30 even. I would say Memphis on Friday, you can pretty much count on, give or take, 15, 20 minutes. 11:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock. Empty the building, complete different session. Yep. You buy tickets that way if you don't buy the full package. Then that night session, first game, 6 o'clock. Second game, 8:30, 8:50.
Yeah.
On Sunday, for us, I would bet probably 1:30 first game, 4 o'clock second game. I'm just guessing. I don't know that. And it won't be determined until we get closer.
Right.
I think that hurts ticket sales. I know TV drives it.
Sure.
But you can't have both. You can't say, well, TV drives it. Where are all the people?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't give them any chance to get there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And maybe make an airline ticket to get home.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, and I think certainly interesting here to see, what does the, crowd look like here in Memphis. That last time, I'm trying to remember the last time we had tournament games here, and it was that weekend where we got the Kentucky and UCLA game when was that when Lonzo was there?
It was when Magic Johnson was here scouting.
That's right. And so that was
Friday night.
Yeah, so that was really fun. I remember that.
Now that was second weekend.
That was second weekend.
And those games started, I'm gonna say 6ish and 8:45ish.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
I remember.
Who was in that first game at 6? Butler. I
don't remember who they're playing now.
Butler and North Carolina?
I think it was.
And UCLA and who on Friday night?
I don't remember now.
I don't either.
I don't remember now. But I just remember UCLA was there.
And then North Carolina and Kentucky met on Sunday. Well, Kentucky.
Right.
And then Kentucky and North Carolina met on Sunday in a classic.
Yeah, and so obviously that is, when you look at those names, that's a little more intriguing than, 1 versus 16 or whatever Memphis is getting for first weekend. But I'm, the type of person, I love, the smaller teams, and I would love to see go see a 16 seed or go see, one of these lower seeded teams. I know I'm different from a lot of people, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun either way, just to see those NCAA tournament games. And Brett, kind of like you were saying, I mean, the first weekend you're getting more games. You're getting that first slate, and so it should be a lot of fun. I hope.
I like 4 games in one day. It's a long day.
It is.
It's a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
By some point, you're very squishy.
I believe that.
You don't know what time it is and what game it is, but I like those games. It's a long day, but I do like even the period between the sessions.
How long is that period? I don't know, and that's
not
shame
long.
on me.
So let's say first game on Friday starts at anywhere from 11:15 to 11:40, and that's about the time frame. Well, 2-hour game, 30 minutes in between. 2 o'clock, second tip, game over at 4, everybody clears out.
Right.
4:30, everybody clears out. And then, you're re-tipping at night at, 6:10, 6:15,
Wow.
and they reopen about an hour out.
Interesting. So, I mean, like, would you have time after that first session to, like, go into one of the restaurants on Beale? And
Yeah, you can hit Beale hard. I wouldn't head to Collierville and back.
No. Okay, but it's like it's enough time you can,
I wouldn't head to DeSoto County and back, Johnny.
Man, no, you can't do that, man.
I can't go to Far City and back. No,
Okay.
you're downtown
Cool.
if you're going to both sessions, you're
Sure.
downtown from 11 to 11.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, could you wait and maybe go get a bite to eat somewhere other than just the concession stands during that break, or was it you're outside and then you're turning
And
right
that's
around
what
and
Beale
getting
Street
in?
and the merchants are counting on.
Yes,
Downtown Restaurant
yes.
Association, downtown, and other people around town.
Sure.
Certainly no shot at Collierville and DeSoto
No,
County.
no.
We love them. It's just it would be hard
Sure.
physically to get back. I think they know that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's a way farther drive, like
Yeah.
you said, especially coming from DeSoto County. That's
Now,
like a 30-minute drive.
There will be people staying in those areas
Sure.
coming into town.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But and downtown will be really fun with the 4 teams in
that'd be
town
great.
that Friday. It'll be a lot of fun, but I wouldn't think there'd be a long time in between sessions, and sometimes you can get that overtime game that really puts the
That's a
pressure
good point.
on the host people.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a complete unique ticket
Sure.
for Friday afternoon as opposed to Friday night,
Right.
and then just one for Sunday.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think there's 75 a session. So the first session is kind of the 2 on Friday afternoon, and then 2 Friday nights, so that's 150, and Sunday afternoon is 75.
Interesting.
Or is it 75 a game? Maybe 75 a game.
Well, hey, I wouldn't blame them if it was 75 again.
Last time 6. I think that may be it.
That gets expensive. But no, I mean that's I've never kind of thought about all of the kind of behind the scenes kind of scheduling, ticketing things when it comes to these NCAA
And for a host like the University of Memphis, it still very much is in play for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real staffing volunteer issue to have people working this event while we hope the Tigers are playing somewhere on Thursday.
Yeah.
They cannot play that first weekend on the day that the member institution is hosting.
I love that.
And that spreads an athletics department out really thin.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I mean, a lot of as much as we love to just sit in front and click the back button
And
watch the
rediscover
games,
True TV.
Every year.
Our time of year to fall back in love with 246
That's
on
right.
DirecTV.
Oh, I'm glad you remember it. I never remember it, and it's always in March where you get the tweets and everyone's going, "What channel? What number is True TV?" I don't.
Same with baseball playoffs.
Oh, that's right. Everyone. It's just those 2 months you rediscover those that channel, and then outside of that, the rest of the 10 months, nowhere to be found.
Grizzlies lose to Minnesota.
They were competitive though.
29 under 500 though.
Well, but Brett, that's all we can ask for. You weren't here.
Next loss will be 20. If they lose tomorrow night, 20 under 500.
Wrong way to look at it, Brett. Wrong way to look at it.
Give me the right way.
I think we hate moral victories, but I think this is the season where you like moral victories. Throw
You
everything
take
else
what
out
you
the
can
window.
get.
You
I agree
weren't-
with that.
You weren't here after the Nets game. When on social media, I'm sure you saw it. A lot of people very disappointed in the effort.
Yeah, they was
That
they was
really
killing
poor
them.
effort.
It was.
And that had not been this en masse injury seasons over efforts.
Yeah. And so, but I think, I'd way rather take what we got last night than what we saw against the Nets. Even though, I think, a loss is a loss either way. But, I think in terms of trying to stay engaged and keep the fan base engaged during this kind of weird season, those games look a lot better than what they did against the Nets.
All of this will be worth it.
Absolutely.
This time next year,
Yes.
if the Grizzlies are clearly on their way to 50-plus wins, I'll even amend to 47-plus wins.
Okay.
But if it's a 50-win season they're marching to, and 3rd, 4th, 5th in playoff seeding, 6th even, no play-in, it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's going to be a lot of questions. Now, with no more injuries.
Sure. Right.
And certainly not the just the overwhelming number they had to endure this year.
Sure.
I don't think anybody fair-minded can blame them for all these injuries. I still do question the maintenance of Ja Morant, though, and to let that happen.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. But, I mean, it's just such a weird year. And, we talked about it before of what you found in Vince Williams, what you found in G.G. Jackson. Now it seems like there's a, large vocal part of the Grizzlies fan base and the media that think you have something in Lamar Stevens. And, you wouldn't have had those opportunities to find those. We'd all rather be in the playoff mix right now with a healthy group.
And we'll really see a year from now if you got anything with Lamar Stevens and maybe even Vince Williams.
Exactly.
And also this time next year that we will be closing in the end of the Wonderkins of the front office of their 6th year. The previous front office in its 6th year went to the Western Conference Finals. I'm not going to belabor it for now, but in about 10 months I will be.
Yeah.
Because for everybody, and look, the previous front office, the shelf life expired.
Sure.
It did. The expiration date hit.
Right.
Okay, fine. Everybody welcomed the new kids in town, and they've done a great job.
Sure.
And they've really rested on, I think, on their laurels with Bain and a couple others. Okay, fine.
Sure.
It's time for playoff advancement. This time next year, we will be talking the 7th year of Jaren and the 6th year of Ja.
Yeah.
The 6 years of the Wonderkins in the front office, and one playoff series win.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a really good point. And, we'll see what happens next year. I think there should be a ton of excitement about it. But
just as Penny is held to second weekend,
yes,
Zach Kleiman in the front office has got to be held to you got to advance in the playoffs.
No, I mean, it's that same. We kind of saw it last year when the Tigers make the NCAA tournament, and then a year after they advance to the second game of the first weekend, they lose in the first game, and we were kind of saying, well, that's kind of a step back. You want to see them kind of make improvements. It's kind of the same thing of
and that's part of the open irritation at Arkansas. Elite 8, Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Now nothing, going nowhere, trying to get to the finish in a nightmarish sports year from August to now. Nightmare. Puts all the more pressure on baseball and Dave Van Horn, who really has always operated very quietly, very much like his mentor Norm DeBryan, just doing his job, doing his thing. Good teams, great crowds, great facilities, but never putting the ribbon around it.
Right.
He's going to have to. Nothing other than dogpile in Omaha will be acceptable for this reason, because how the rest of the year's been, and anything else. Let's say it's a repeat of 2018 against Oregon State, and it's Heartbreak City. They're tired of being heartbroken. Let's say it's a repeat of not getting out of super regionals. They're tired of that.
Yep.
Then getting to Omaha and not being able to make any headway. Arkansas fans are tired with their commitment financially and fan support and not having any championships.
Well, and it's just a year like this is just so tough. I mean, you start football season with, KJ and Rocket Sanders. And
start football season thinking they could be the thread the needle, experienced quarterback, hit that 9-3 or better.
Yeah, and then basketball, that doesn't work out. Basketball season rolls around, you're top 15 to start the season. You're thinking, okay, we're going to have another big
Portal
year.
King.
And now nothing, absolutely nothing. And now baseball comes around and you're just praying for something.
Brian,
you're top 10. I mean,
maybe 6,000 in the house. Now, look, let's be fair. Nightmarish year.
Sure.
8 o'clock on a Tuesday night
that's tough.
against Vanderbilt.
Oh, nothing's going in your favor there.
About 6,000 in Bud Walton Arena. I had never seen it or felt it like that. I know times have really changed, but when it first opened, that was Corliss, Scotty, those teams, winning it all and then playing for it all the next year. I went to a football weekend November of 95, maybe 96. They went to Sweet 16 that year. And on Friday night was the red-white game. Admission was free.
Okay.
I think you had to bring a can of some Habitat for Humanity or somebody or
donations.
Packed 20,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, I had the game on, and it sounded quiet. It did not sound
it was quiet.
Rowdy. And obviously, at that point, Vanderbilt was up in the second half, so not much to
And
cheer
Vandy's
about.
awful.
Yeah, Vandy has really, really struggled this year. Let me go ahead and set up today's show before we get to top and not top story. A ton to get to today. A lot of Tiger news. Tiger basketball with their game tonight against East Carolina. Tiger football schedule has officially been released. The entire ACC conference schedule was dropped earlier today, so we'll get to that later. 3:30, we're going to talk Tigers and East Carolina. We'll also get to Tiger bankroll. We all had group lock on Sunday against FAU. We all lost. We're all looking to bounce back. We'll see what happens tonight when the Tigers take on East Carolina. 3:45, we'll talk some Grizzlies. Another loss for the Grizzlies last night against the Timberwolves, but much more competitive than they were earlier this week against the Nets. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spotrac in the front office show will join us to talk the NBA. 4:30, we'll get to the Tigers football schedule as that was released earlier today around noon. We'll get to how the full schedule sets what looks like for conference play.
The
We'll do
rarest
that at
of
4:30.
Thanksgiving games for the Memphis Tigers in football. Johnny and I looked it up. I saw at Jonah Dillon's Twitter site.
That's right.
Nice research by him. First time since '83 to play on Thanksgiving. I did not doubt Jonah for a second,
Right.
but Johnny and I looked it up.
Yeah.
'Cause I'd gotten a game against Arkansas State. I thought that was Thanksgiving weekend because we went, but it was the Saturday before, and I remembered I came home a little early, tied ASU and Larry Lacewell that year, and then mauled Louisville on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
I didn't know that until we looked it up together.
Wow, so a very rare Thanksgiving day this year at Tulane. That will be interesting. So we'll talk a lot about the Tigers football schedule at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get the big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us. Plenty to talk about with Greg. Basketball game tonight, the game against FAU, and obviously
He'll be in New
Tiger
Orleans Thanksgiving
schedule.
night.
That's right. So a ton to get to with Greg at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. And get out to Family Leisure. Right now, they've got the factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it. Buy now and get first in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special financing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. So make sure you head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. Bryant and Brett, and produced by Johnny Hill. And we want you to be a big part of it at 901-360-8255. Big one for the Tigers night. This hour of our show brought to you every day by our title sponsor, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That is Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story has to be the Tigers back in action tonight on the road against East Carolina. East Carolina enters this game 14-13 overall, 7-7 in conference play, and they're coming off a loss on the road against Rice. So a similar loss between these two teams, and that is unfortunately Rice. But obviously we've seen this a lot for Tigers on the road. They're doing a whiteout game tonight at East Carolina, so trying to motivate the fans, wear white,
At
be
the
loud.
Zany Minges.
That's right. And Brett, we know Tigers have struggled there in recent history. It's been kind of permanently tattooed into my brain that game, 2022?
That's
where
it.
Jalen Duren, Amani Bates go out there. It was a dud from
How
the entire
loaded
team.
was that team?
And did nothing. Great team, but went on the road to East Carolina, lost by 1 point in really a bad game from them. So I'm just worried. I think the Tigers, if they can go out and play like they have these last 2 games, they should roll against East Carolina. You saw that performance at home against Charlotte. You saw what they did against
Good morning,
Florida
good
Atlantic.
afternoon, good night.
Absolutely.
Make it easy.
But what worries me is this feels like that sleepy, letdown game, just like we saw with Wake Forest. They at home.
Super Bowl?
I don't want to say Super Bowl. You know how much I hate that. But, you saw Wake Forest at home against Duke, the emotional game. They get the win. And then last night or two nights ago was nothing against a really bad Notre Dame team. I'm worried we might see the same thing with the Tigers, that emotional win over Florida Atlantic. Everybody's so energized. We hear Penny Hardaway showed a video before the game to get the guys fired up.
Show it again.
Honestly. And then you go out against East Carolina
Johnny.
and you come out flat.
Got to keep it on loop, I agree.
Tigers have to come out with energy tonight. We've seen far too often them come out slow and have to kind of bounce back, rebound from that slow start in the second half. Can't have that, or I at least don't want to see it. You probably have it and still win. I don't want to see it tonight on the road against East Carolina.
That's my top story. Tigers in Greenville, North Carolina. You hear people talk about it's easier to get to Bangladesh than it is to Greenville, North Carolina. The game at Fog Allen at Minges Arena. Guess what tonight is?
What Super Bowl?
Must win.
The classic must win, Brett. Shame on me.
And a win doesn't do much for your profile, for your NCAA tournament enhancement, but it would certainly make AAC seeding much better. And then the automatic bid that right now I think is the most realistic path for Memphis. You look at a lot of these bracketologists, and it's not last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out. It's not next 15 out. Yeah. And so the Tigers, I think the most realistic path is to do what they did last year. Now, that's the hardest way to do it as well. But no Houston in this tournament this year. That makes it, I think, a lot easier. UAB, for East Carolina, we'll see what they'll do. UAB, home loss last night. Tulane, 1 win since beating Memphis. Texas San Antonio with a 2-game winning streak. Temple beats Rice by 22 at Rice. Wichita State, 2 out of 3. This is a really bad league.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day. Look at this. All Tigers with my top and not top story. Yesterday, Johnny and I were talking about the Tigers losing a running backs coach.
Sean Dawkins.
That's right. Today, we're talking about the schedule that has come out. We knew the non-conference part of the schedule. We knew what that looked like. But now we get the rest of it with conference. First conference game, a road game at Navy. Then they've got another road conference game at USF on a Friday night. But the one that's standing out to a lot of people, and for good reason, a Thanksgiving Day game on the road in New Orleans. And Brett, let's not forget the type of week that will be for Memphis Athletics. The Tiger basketball team that same week will be out in Maui for the Maui Invitational. We know the names that are in that one: North Carolina and UConn and Auburn and Dayton. You know, all the names that are out there along with the Tigers. And then you've got the Thanksgiving Day game that, honestly, if the Tigers play like a lot of people think the Tigers will play this year, Tulane plays the way a lot of people think Tulane should play this way, this could be a win and you're into the conference championship. It could be a preview game to the conference championship game between Memphis and Tulane. So that's a really, really good game. And I'm really excited that it's on Thanksgiving. It's going to be
now Maui's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing.
So it'll be the day after.
Football on Thursday.
Ooh, that's a week. That
is a very busy week, and it'll be here soon. That's one of my favorite weeks of the year, Thanksgiving week with all the sports. My not top story: LeBron James, 40 points from 40,000 points after the 34-point game last night. That was sensational for anybody, but especially for somebody at his career point. Here's where he stands in everything in his career. 7th in games played, 2nd in minutes played, 2nd in field goals made, 1st in field goals attempted, 4th in assists, 9th in steals, 33rd in rebounds, 84th in blocks. Hey, pick up those blocks a little bit. 4th in made free throws. Simply a legend. and last night a legendary performance.
Crazy.
Man, that's a crazy resume, man.
It is.
That's legendary.
And he's not done.
No. I mean, that fourth quarter was unbelievable from him. And at his age, to be able to do those things, incredible. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Tigers game tonight on the road against East Carolina. That's next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. It's the Callaway Fitting Event happening February 19th through March 3rd. The new Callaway AI Smoke Driver has smart face technology with multiple sweet spots across the face. To reserve your custom fitting by Callaway representatives, swing into your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or book online at worldwidegolfshops.com. Get there.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's. This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe. It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit of stop-and-go action going on up and down certain sections of Tullahoma. Holmes Road pretty busy, as well as traffic increases on Lamar, especially coming off 240 as you continue outbound on Lamar back out towards Olive Branch. It's holding up right now on 240 onto 385 Billmores Parkway. That still looks pretty good. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. I'm talking about Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online. Check out more information at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We talked about it. It was both of our top stories of the day. Must-win game, Brett. We have entered that territory far too often this year and over the last couple of years. But the Tigers back in action tonight. A road game against East Carolina. The first time they've seen East Carolina this season.
Would you call yourself scared of East Carolina tonight?
No, I wouldn't. But Brett, you know, I've said that most times in the past when you ask that question about a team, I would say yes. But
would you call yourself simply respecting a road opponent in late February?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
It is not fear. This is not going to Tully Gym at FSU in the day.
No.
I mean, this is not going to Freedom Hall. This is not going to a lot of places. No. This is to the Minges.
Right. And I think, this year in particular, when you look around the country, not just, there's those stats about top 25 teams on the road against unranked opponents and they're struggling. It's the entire world of college basketball.
This is a team that lost by 18 last Saturday to Rice.
Yeah, I mean, just did not compete. But, we know that it is hard to win, and so I think that's where that kind of respect the road opponent. But I'm not scared of this game. I think the Tigers, if they play like they've played,
I don't know why we have respect for this team. I don't.
Well, I mean, that could be a good point.
They lost by they lost to Charlotte.
Yeah.
By 15.
Well, home or road game.
Road.
Okay, well, that's not as bad, but still, that's not a great loss at all. But I don't think it's more. How about this? I don't think it's I'm scared of the opponent or even respecting the opponent. I think it's I'm scared of this Memphis team.
That's what we're scared of.
The way they perform, because they are so inconsistent. I've seen these last two games where they look great against Charlotte. They go out and beat FAU at home, and I still can't trust them because of what I saw before in conference play.
And we've heard at least 3 big seminal kick points of the year. It's really different this time.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's, Brett, honestly.
It's really different this time.
That's the thing I'm kind of tired of already with this season. The season's not even over, and I'm tired of it. It seems like we get to these points. Beginning of the season, we had kind of the rumors and the people talking behind the scenes. Oh, well, let's go way before. In the offseason, when they're down in the Bahamas, team chemistry's great. This team loves each other. It's better than ever before. Then early in the season, we hear, there's some things on this team. It's not as great as you think. Then they go on that 10-game win streak. All's great. Now it's bad. We're writing stories about how bad it is now. And now
beat Clemson and Virginia at the holidays.
Oh, yeah. It's so great. Then we get to that 4-game losing streak.
That's third and fourth place teams in the ACC.
Oh, absolutely. But then we get to the point of that 4-game losing streak where everything's hit the fan, his team's awful, and now we've got Penny Hardaway during his weekly radio show at Brookhaven saying, look, our guys are here. That shows how united they are. They're together. This is the most together they've been all season.
He did. Here's my question.
I feel like we've done this 4 times already this year.
Here's my question and it may be some really good answers. Somebody may have been getting treatment. Somebody may have had who wasn't there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
on the team unity night, who didn't show?
Good question. Because it was kind of
it kind of looked mandatory.
Here, Quinterly's here, and a lot of other guys are here. But it didn't. Not everybody was there.
Which good for them.
Yeah.
I like.
Sure.
I like this point of the year, and we know college basketball builds to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But shouldn't we have had this unity ticket earlier?
Well, and Brett, it feels like we had the unity ticket earlier of, wow, look at this 10-game win streak. They're so together. And I just feel like I've been fooled already a couple times.
Am I the first one that's asked? And I saw it Monday night. I thought, well, I'm going to be out tomorrow and Wednesday. This will mostly be forgotten. Yeah. I had forgot. I didn't have it in my notes to bring it up. Has anybody else asked, where were the other guys?
I thought it, but I didn't really, I haven't heard anybody bring that up. But it's a great question. And so, I hope this team is united. What I've seen these last 2 games, I've been very pleased with. I mean, I think
I would like to know exactly who wasn't there. Do we know who was?
I don't think
we got the number was 8, right?
I think it was.
I think majority of them are starters, though, if I'm not mistaken.
That's 5.
Yeah.
That's 5 max.
And so then 3 bench guys.
Yeah.
Was this your just regular rotation?
And Noah Stansberry and his dad.
Well, yeah, I think Noah Stansberry has to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if Pops is there, he's probably there. And yeah, I don't think because, like I said, I mean, it felt like when the reporting, it was like, oh man, David Jones, Javon Quinterly, and
Great.
some other guys are here
Tomlin.
for the team. Yeah, and so, but you never got like an exact list or exactly, how many guys were there and who wasn't there. It was kind of weird.
Jordan Brown not ill again, is he?
Well, Brett, I don't know. Now we're
Hope
hearing,
not.
Never know.
Now we're hearing about that back. I don't,
Well, but it's not. I don't know if that. So they're telling us the back.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that HIPAA?
That's a good point. I honestly, Brett, I couldn't tell you. There's been a lot of things this year that I couldn't tell you.
And that's it. That's the frustration going into this. And yes, it is must win because with a 79 Memphis net and a 173 ECU net, if they win, a narrow win, they probably won't move up any. Maybe even a narrow win, they could move down a spot.
They could.
Blowout win probably could move up a spot or 2.
Sure, absolutely.
I'll just guessing. Double-digit win, move up max about 5 spots.
I would say that's fair.
That's the 74. That's still nowheresville. A loss to 173, I think they would lose 10 spots.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I you're probably right.
And this league is not held in any regard around anybody doing these strength of conferences lists.
No, and I was looking, it kind of jumped out, not Memphis, but talking about kind of the area they are for net, looking at Jerry Palm's bracket, and you've mentioned it before, he's now updating it daily, every single day, and now obviously it's different because of the loss that Ole Miss took last night. But
they're nowhere to be found and shouldn't be.
Exactly. But when you saw last teams in and then even first 4 teams out, I think they were sitting at like 74 in the net yesterday before that game. And I mean, you're looking, I'm just going to read off the teams that are here right now. Colorado, 29. Gonzaga, 21. Utah, 53. And then you saw Ole Miss, 74. And I was like, one of those teams does not fit the bill of all of these other teams.
Then they get beat again, and it doesn't fit, and they shouldn't be in. I don't know. I think the home win against Florida in the manner that they won it, and then the excitement of the home win against Mississippi State, that's about it. The rest of Ole Miss's wins this year have not been against good teams. That includes Memphis.
That's right.
When we look back now, they should have won that game, and they did. And they're not getting a lot of credit for it, and they shouldn't. Right. Here's one that's playing tonight in a big game that I don't get why. I should have set this up in blind resume. I don't get why they don't get more consideration.
Oh wait, so this is a team you think should get more consideration? Perfect.
And they're as persona non grata at the net as the Tigers are, and as Ole Miss is now developed. San Francisco.
Great point.
54 net.
Yeah.
That ain't in the 70s.
I didn't know that.
54 net. They don't have any quad 1 wins, I don't think.
That would probably be the big
But Ole Miss was the team that didn't have a lot of great wins, but they hadn't had the ugly loss.
Right.
I want to see what San Francisco, what they've done.
That's a great point, Brad. They don't have no ugly losses at all.
In San Francisco, 7-0 quad 3, 13-0 quad 4.
Wow.
They took care of the gimmies.
Exactly.
0-5 quad 1, 1-2 quad 2.
Yeah, that
they hadn't beat anybody good, but they didn't stumble on anybody bad. That's Ole Miss. But 54-7, and what's Ole Miss today? 77.
Yeah,
there's a lot of difference in that.
Big difference.
You don't see San Francisco in anybody's outside looking in next 14. You don't see San Francisco anywhere.
And a good team. I mean, now you got to stay up late to watch them in that West Coast big game
at
tonight.
Home tonight against Gonzaga.
Be a quad 1 win if they could get that.
But all you hear from that conference is Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
Absolutely, all the time. Oh, it's going to be this fight, Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Who's going to get it? That's a really good team.
My point, or another one of my points, is this league, I think the West Coast Conference is better than AAC.
Yeah, well, it certainly has those kind of top two teams of, Gonzaga may or may not be in, but they're that name. And then St. Mary's is firmly in right now, I would think. So
I would too, and should be.
Yeah, I think should be. Now I'm looking at Jerry Palms. He has them on that 8-9 line, so they don't want to go and lose a couple games here and lose.
A&M still with a 59 net. Crazy. I can't explain net, and I can't explain Texas A&M.
No.
They're not any good.
They're not. And I mean, now out of the discussion for the tournament, but I mean, was hanging around for a lot longer than I thought they should have been.
Really did.
But, I guess that's the SEC working for you.
And the myth of Texas A&M across sports.
I mean,
it huffs and puffs and blows nobody over.
Well, and that's a team, Texas A&M is, that I think you really could, maybe not most disappointing team in the country, but certainly one of the disappointing teams in the country has got to be Texas A&M. We were talking about them preseason.
It's got to be.
As they can win the SEC, and now not anywhere close to winning the SEC.
A&M, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Mizzou.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the year Mizzou's had. I mean, that's a shocker. Here could be your most disappointing teams, and they played in a tournament. Everybody in Atlantis.
Yeah.
Except for North Carolina.
Yeah. It's a good point. I mean,
there just wasn't much to that now after we've played and learned. Now, going into it, it looked grueling.
Yeah,
North Carolina certainly held up. Texas
What's that
Tech
entire bracket?
Well.
Do you have that entire bracket
I can pull it up.
What, Northern Iowa in there?
Northern Iowa was in it.
I mean, where are they?
So I would say.
You checked on them lately?
No, I have not, which is surprising for me because I'm usually gambling on all these teams.
Yeah.
So I would say North Carolina and Texas Tech were probably the only two. Let's look. North Carolina holds up, sure.
Yeah.
Northern Iowa.
No.
Don't know anything about them this year. Villanova's been a disappointment this year. Texas Tech has been fine. They've been good. Michigan has been, that's a complete mess over there. Memphis has not played well. Arkansas has been a disaster, and Stanford has pretty much been incognito all season long. I mean, they've done absolutely nothing in the Pac-12.
Isn't that something?
In a bad Pac-12 this year,
And I thought Thanksgiving week, that was Murderer's Row.
Now, thankfully,
that was Cream Puffery Row.
Now, I guess hopefully, thankfully, I don't think we'll have that problem next year with Maui.
I would bet against it.
I would be shocked if we had something similar next year.
Maui's brutal.
It's brutal, and it's gonna be interesting. We need to get to a break, but let's go ahead and do Tiger Bankroll. What is the line we're playing it off? I saw
you tell me
earlier.
You tell me what it is right now. Whatever site you go to.
I am going to go to one of the sports books I use, and we will see what this line is sitting at right now. I saw it earlier at 3.5.
I don't want any accusations of finessing the line down the stretch here, Johnny.
Hey, you don't. There won't be no accusations from me, man.
We get accused of that a lot, I guess. Let's see. 6 o'clock. Where are they? Memphis. That's the problem with too many. Okay, wow, it's starting to move. Memphis, 4.5-point favorite.
Really? Okay.
On the road against East Carolina.
We all good?
Good with 4.5? I'm good with it.
All right. I'm at 1,400 for the year. Give me East Carolina plus the 4.5 for 150.
Ooh, okay. Okay, Brett.
Johnny?
Brett puts some pressure. Okay.
You're at
so
1075.
Defense. I guess Johnny's got a little too close to you.
He's at 1075.
Man,
325 behind.
Okay.
Johnny takes 325 on Memphis.
We didn't have to do that to go ahead if I lose.
You know what? I got the Tigers for 150.
Holy cow.
300 swing tonight between us.
I mean, do y'all even care what I'm picking anymore?
Yes, we care.
Yes, we do.
Right.
Hey,
we're here for you.
Hey, Brett, the tissues is in the studio.
Always. Keep the tissue handy. I got one right over your handy. You know I keep one handy, Johnny. I got one.
Good Lord have mercy.
You're at 575. 11-17 for the year.
Let's go Memphis for 75. Let's get around 500 if we lose. Jeez.
I'll even be a real friend. I'll give both of y'all 3.5.
All right.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
I don't like this game we're playing, but I'll
hey, this is a dangerous game, bro.
Be a fool not to take it. Okay, so it's going to be interesting tonight.
I only get 3.5. Y'all only lay 3.5.
All right, I like that. I'll take it. That makes it interesting.
Trying to be fair down the stretch.
Hey, you being more than fair right now.
I don't think I'm shocked that it has moved a whole line or a whole point since.
Came out last night at 4.5, went to 3.5, and then went back to 4.5.
Wow.
But I wanted to go off any number y'all chose.
Okay, see, I saw it this morning at 3.5, and I wanted to double check. Now back at 4.5, so it's gonna be interesting tonight. We'll certainly talk.
I want to win, but I don't want any allegations of nefarious.
No allegations are here, Brett.
How fair you're being. Well, we'll talk more Tiger basketball at 5 o'clock when we talk to Greg Gasson. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking Grizzlies.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe in 2024. We can't wait to serve you.
It's time to get thunderstruck during Gossett Mitsubishi's spring sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Ready to get 43 MPG Highway? Check out the 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett, 18,610 or $249 a month. Need extra room? 7-passenger seating in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE, 33,605 or $399.99 a month. And Gossett Mitsubishi's got sophisticated styling and comfort in 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, 31,200 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage RH00591 MSRP 19110, Outlander RZO 19512 MSRP 34605, Eclipse RZO 10625 MSRP 317, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
When a cold comes on strong, try DayQuil's Severe Honey flavor. The daytime, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, so a cold won't slow you down. Get back to your day feeling relieved, enjoying the delicious flavor of DayQuil Severe Honey. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor soothes your symptoms with a delicious taste. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE 722-812, MSRP 21590. Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So we were looking during the break. It's going to be a lot closer than we thought it would be.
Tiger Bankrolls all in tonight, Johnny.
Sure is.
Hey, if you win, you're at 12.25. If you win, it means I lose. I'm at 12.50.
Wow. So 25.
That's it.
Man, Brett, you forced me to do this, man.
I went from playing defense to
Johnny,
throwing deep.
It's getting real.
Hey, I had to throw deep with him, man.
So try to
got on that back foot, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're like a pair of boxers. You're trying to go blow for blow with each other.
But if I win,
hey, you might as well. Hey, we
Keon Meredith.
Hey, we might as well play it on the air, man. It's over.
No, it would be over at that point. Well, the Grizzlies, they were in action on the road last night against the Timberwolves.
It's not over for the Grizzlies, but it's ending.
Yes, it's getting grim, but another loss, but very competitive on the road against a Timberwolves team that we were talking yesterday. You had a couple of the guys questionable last night. Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, both listed questionable. They both played, and so you're going up against a lot with the team that is leading the West right now. But very competitive last night.
It was real good start, not so much the end, and now stand at 20-39 with back-to-back Friday night and Saturday night against Portland. I don't expect a sweep, 2-0, but I sure don't expect 0-2, and I don't think the fans deserve it. But at this point, it's all about next year, and every percentage helps.
Sure.
On ping pong ball night.
Sure. Yeah, and I think last night was kind of, and I feel like a record player saying everything on repeat is you want that good start, play hard, and then you just come up short in the end. I mean, going out there. A 14-0 run to start the game last night. I didn't expect that. That was shocking to me.
What's the earliest you would draft Dalton Connect in the first round if you're a GM? He's not 1, but he's not 19 either.
I'd say...
In the lottery?
Certainly in the lottery. Maybe 12 or 13.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Double digits?
Yeah, sir. I think double digits. But I mean... Again, we've talked about this draft class before. It is way more foreign guys than it is, especially towards the top of the draft, than it is local American guys. And so, I'll be honest, I don't know a ton of the guys that are up there.
I'm sorry for Dalton Connect, but you will be lumped into the Jimmer Adam Morrison stereotype.
Absolutely.
You just will be.
Absolutely. 100%.
If that comes off mean, rude, crude, I'm sorry.
And it is. You're already hearing it. I saw on Twitter, I think it was last night after that game, people were saying this is going to be exactly Jimmer for Dad, and so.
And that's unfair, but it is what it is.
It is. And now if you hit, you're going to be the hope.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, he's already getting it in college. Just wait till he gets drafted into the NBA and people see his film from college and his game in summer league.
Adam Morrison was leaps and bounds a better player at this point in college than Dalton Connect.
Absolutely.
Body type was different.
Oh, I mean, a completely different game back then.
It was.
It was, and I don't know if he's still, but I remember a couple years ago turning on Gonzaga basketball. He was doing he was their color commentator.
I think
for the radio.
so.
I don't know if he's still doing that, but Adam Morrison's great, and so I think somewhere around 12, 13 would be a good spot.
Might be a
for
Keith
him.
Smith question.
It sounds like a perfect Keith Smith question. I know he was watching a lot of college hoops during All-Star Week, so we can ask him that. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some NBA with Keith Smith.
Folks, Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. What a great time to buy a new or used car or truck and save money at Sunrise. The largest selection in over a year, over 500 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from, an $8 million used car inventory. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. Factory rebates up to $6,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Immediate financing available with loans low as 0% on select models. Cars and trucks under $10,000. When it comes to selection and savings, it doesn't get any better than this, partner. Come on in and save some money at Sunrise. Coming to Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Join Jared and Gigi and your Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at 7 p.m. when your Grizzlies host the Portland Trailblazers on Grizz's birthday. Arrive early, first 5,000 will receive Little Grizz in a box. Get loud, show your grit, and get ready for an epic matchup by securing your tickets today at Grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit of stop-and-go action going on at times up through the construction zone, especially 55 north around Crump. It's not the worst we've ever seen it. Just be careful trying to get through that construction. They have changed a lot of things over the last week or so. Traffic's picked up even more with volume as we check it out live over here on 40 going eastbound as you pass Warford, Hollywood. It looks like 240 westbound wants to get a little bit heavy at times passing Walnut Grove. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's got to be Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now from Spot Track and the Front Office Show to talk some NBA. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. And I mean, I don't really know where else I could start. After what LeBron James did last night, the Lakers come back from 21-point deficit to start the fourth quarter, and LeBron James was unbelievable. 19 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds for him in the fourth quarter, a big defensive play. I mean, just unbelievable late game for him. For him to be doing all of this still this late in his career has just been unbelievable. And what he did last night just proved, I mean, he still has a lot in him.
Yeah, absolutely. If you told me there was one player you needed for one game or one play, I'm still picking LeBron over everybody else. You know, he's just that good still at this point in his career. And not only, you know, the stats that he just rattled off, he made a couple big defensive plays.
That's right.
At the end of the game, too. You know, he took on and said, all right, I got this, guys. You know, get out of the way. I got Kawhi. I'm gonna do what we need to do here to get this win. I mean, just, you know, unbelievable. Can't do that for 82 anymore, but, you know, if you need him for one or two here and there, he's still going to come through for you.
Keith, I would go so far to say the proverbial, who would you start your franchise with today? I would make a strong case. I think I can make a strong case. I would take LeBron for that 1 year of suite, signage, skybox, everything, sales that goes with it, national TV games that go with it. If I'm Portland, I think I would start today with him. And if I got 1 year out of it, okay, it's a lot more than I've had before. If I got 2, it's no doubt a win.
Yeah, I don't know that I can get there with you. If it's about all the other stuff, sure. But if it's about basketball, there's a number of other younger stars that I'm going for over LeBron. But, it's still, that's not how it works, right? In there, we're going to find out whether it's this year or next year at some point in the future. We're going to find out if some team wants to test the whole, how much do you want to play with Bronny? Do you really want to play with him? Because, maybe the Orlando Magic draft him and say, all right, your chances are come here and play for us. If we want to do that or something like that. We're
Washington.
Kind of how that calls. Yeah, there's any number of teams, right, that they would never have a realistic shot at getting LeBron. But, hey, if we get Bronny, or, we'll see if he hangs in there long enough. But it sounds like he really wants to have some level of involvement with a potential expansion team. And if he does that, then we'll see, if that turns into, all right, LeBron's suiting up for the Las Vegas, whatever you call him, and, he's suiting up out there for a year or two.
And it will be more than just a sideshow, because I think he can still help, but the sideshow would be very profitable for a team. I mean, you drop him in Charlotte for next year and how it would energize that franchise. But for one game, no doubt you're right. And I don't think he will have, over a course of a 2-week, 7-game series, the impact this year that he even had last year.
Yeah, you can see when you watch him game to game. He picks his spots now. He can't bring it every single night the way he used to. Some of those explosive drives to the rim, they're just not there. There's times when you see he's trying to explode out of the cut, and it just isn't quite there. Now, it's still better than 99% of the rest of the league because, he was so far above so many of them for so many years. But what he's made up for is there's nothing you can show him on a court that he hasn't seen now. You surprise LeBron James with something, either you're trying something absolutely bananas or you come up with some real kind of cool scheme or coverage or something, because otherwise he's going to see it. And guess what? Even if you do surprise him, you're only surprising him once. Because once he's seen it one time, he's going to solve it and figure it out.
Absolutely. This big story a couple nights ago was Max Strus's 59-foot buzzer beater in his insane fourth quarter where he went 5 for 5 with 5 threes, and that win kept Cleveland in the second spot in the Eastern Conference. But the funny thing is Cleveland is closer to dropping to the play-in than they are to getting first place in the Eastern Conference. They're 8 games back of first place. The Indiana Pacers that are in the 7th spot right now, they're only 13 games back of first place. Are you confident in this Cavs team to maintain this pace that they've been going in and keep a top spot in the Eastern Conference when you've got teams like the Bucks and the Knicks and the Heat and the 76ers behind them?
I'd feel a lot better about it if they were taking care of business against teams like the Bulls last night. But, everybody's going to have losses, and coming off the emotional win with travel on a back-to-back, I'm not really surprised there was a letdown. But I think the key for the Cavs is going to be just keep stacking enough wins together. Don't let a 1-game loss turn into a 2, 3, 4, 5-game losing streak, and they'll be fine. And I do think, I don't know if they'll finish second. I still think Milwaukee might end up ultimately passing them by the time we get to the end, but I think they're going to be in the top 3 for sure. Some of that's driven by they've already built a little bit of a cushion. The Knicks are pretty banged up, so I'm not sure the Knicks will catch them, but I am interested to see what it looks like. They kind of had their first taste of the playoffs a year ago, and they got beat up pretty physically by New York, and New York took it to them, and then the Cavs have to come back around now and figure it out. But it's often, or it's pretty often that teams, their first run through, they do struggle in the postseason. It's a whole new thing to play a team multiple times over a 2-week period and see what that looks like. So I think they'll come back and have a pretty nice playoff run in them as well. But, they've got some stuff they got to figure out for sure.
The 2 spot's going to be very crucial, very important for someone in the East.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You want to make sure, and this is Mr. Celtics guy saying this, but nobody's catching Boston.
No.
That's over and done with. So what you want to do is you want to make sure, hey, we're at home. Like we're at home for the other team. Now, who knows what the play-in tournament and the playoff matchups are going to look like. You may still be dealing with a first-round matchup where you have your hands full. If Miami or New York slips down in that 7 range there, you might have to be really working to get through the first round as well. But I think, if you're Cleveland or you're Milwaukee, you just want that Game 7 at home, right? You want to be in a spot where it is all right, we're at home and we can trust that, we're going to get through it that way and just try to make your path that much easier to, hopefully what turns into an inevitable conference finals run in Boston.
Joel Embiid spoke to the media for the first time today since his injury. He said that he wants to play. He expects to play before the end of the season. He said there's no timetable for his return yet, but he says he even went out to say it doesn't matter where the team is when he's ready to come back to play, that he wants to play. He's going to play if he gets cleared this season. What do you expect this timeline to be? When do you think we could start seeing or hearing that Joel Embiid's ready to return for the 76ers team?
Yeah, I can only go off the reports that are out there that it sounds like sometime about a month from now, towards the end of March. And to me, that makes some sense. Get him on the floor with probably about 2 to 3-ish weeks to go in the regular season. Then he can ramp up. He can be full run and then go into whatever the playoffs bring. And they've been pretty rough without him. It's going to be probably pretty rough for the next at least probably 3-4 weeks here. And then we'll see where they go. If they're in the play-in tournament, so be it. They're in the play-in tournament, they'll have to figure it out. But yeah, once he's ready to go, I think Joel Embiid is at the point of his career where he very much knows, look, there's only so many runs at this I'm going to have. Mm-hmm. And if we have a chance this year, and a big part of that chance is obviously him being on the floor, then I got to be out there, and I got to be a big part of it. So I think you are going to see him get out there when he can be. And then he's also talked about he wants to play in the Olympics this summer for Team USA. And for somebody who is a self-admitted ugly American when it comes to the Olympics, yeah, I want him out there too.
I do too. I want to beat everybody by 80.
Yeah, I want him, and I want all the rest of the guys.
Me too, Keith, especially after last summer in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go. Let's go. Kind of remind everybody. Hey, when our best guys come, you're not hanging with us on the court. That's what I want to see. So, yeah, I think that's part of it too, though, for him is I need to get back. I need to build up so that I'm ready to go, not only for the rest of this run, but so I can play this summer.
Keith, I'm not going to call any names out of respect for you. I don't want to drag you into it, but there is a certain USA Today sports columnist, and I want her to write after we've average margin of victory is 70 points. Was it really necessary to go to Paris and beat everybody this bad? I want to see that column.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want everybody to kind of get that reminder. I mean, I obviously I grew up on the original Dream Team, and I loved the fact that they went and just blew everybody out.
Don't forget 96 with Penny Hardaway, too.
Yeah,
he did the same thing. And Penny and that team just gets no recognition about
They're the
that.
forgotten one.
It really is. It's a shame, too, Keith.
Yeah, it really is. And that team had a couple of the holdovers from the original Dream Team still played. But, yeah, that team was great, too, and everybody's kind of forgotten. But, yeah, I'm all for, load up and go get it. And I wish it could be that way every run. I get it's just not going to be. A lot of guys, especially after they've done it 2 or 3 times and given up their summer, they don't necessarily want to do this every single cycle. But, yeah, I'm all for loading up the Dream Team and going after it.
I'll just speak for me. I'm such an ugly American. I want to do the same thing in badminton in Paris.
Yeah, me too. We just talked about it, and I said, I love the Olympics because there's no other point in the year where I'm watching kayaking or rowing or any of that
Walking.
stuff. But, yeah, I'm 5 minutes into the first event, and I'm like, I'm an expert. And I'm like, there's a little bit of a wobble on that.
No doubt.
That's going to be
diving. I saw a ripple, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'm happy to get out there and yell and scream about a whole bunch of sports I don't know.
I want to win the hammer throw that bad.
Yep. Yeah, I want them all. My dream is still that we sweep all the goals.
That'd be great. I would love that. We're talking with Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us every single week to talk the NBA. And Keith, there's been a lot of talk about scoring really for a while, but a lot since the All-Star game when the East put up 211. There was a story in ESPN yesterday that Joe Dumars, the league's executive vice president and head of basketball operations, said that the league's competitive committee, is officially reviewing wondering if the game has tilted too far toward the offensive side of the ball. What do you think about this? There were a lot of good nuggets in that story about kind of where points per game is right now, the different offensive records that have been set this year and the last couple of years. Do you think that the NBA has gotten too offensive? And what could the NBA do? What could the league do to try to get it back to a more level play style?
Yeah, I very much maintain there's no one thing that has caused this. It's a collection of 7, 8, 9, 10 things over about a 20-year period where all of a sudden it's all come together, and we're seeing scoring like we've never seen before. I think it was, I just pulled these numbers the other day, but we're like 10 points in 10 years for the average offensive rating is up by 10 points in a 10-year period. Like that just tells you, and some of that is games are being played faster than ever. We remember when we all thought the 7 seconds or less Suns were crazy with how fast they played.
Yeah.
They'd be the slowest paced team in the league by far this year. Wouldn't even be close. That's how fast teams are playing now. And I do bristle a little when people say, well, nobody plays any defense, because it's just not true. Players are just better, and they can do more now. If you can't dribble, pass, and shoot in the NBA at this point, you're kind of a liability. You better be elite at something else. You can't do those things, otherwise you're just not going to play. So I think, one of the things they can do is, I don't like the amount of contact offensive players are allowed to get away with, where if a defensive player does it, it's a foul.
That's so
let's
true.
rebalance that a little bit there. I think, I'm fine if they want to let it be a little bit more physical. And one of the things I always talk about is the real stars in this league, they show it in the postseason. And it's in the postseason where they say, all right, some of that ticky-tack stuff, we're not calling it. Now, we're going to let them be a little bit more physical. These are the playoffs. If you want to win and you want to be the star player, you better be able to score at this level. And that's something when we're watching. I think we could, adopt that a little bit more throughout the course of the regular year. And then just when we do these things like, hey, we're not going to reward flopping on offense and all these point of emphasis things they come up with, then just follow through on it. And it feels like that's something that sticks around for a month or so. By the time we're into the holidays in that range, that's all gone out the window again already. So I think there are definitely things they can do to give the defense a little bit better of a chance.
Keith, multi-tiered question, almost LSAT question here. I know you can handle it. How many teams in the West can realistically think they can go to the Western Conference Finals? How many can realistically think they can go to the NBA Finals? How many can dream of winning the NBA Finals, winning the championship?
All right, so teams that think they can go to the West, this may sound like a crazy high number, but I think it's like 8.
I'm with you. To just get to the Western Conference Finals, I'm with you, a big number.
Yep. Yeah, I think part of what's driving that is not that Minnesota and Oklahoma City haven't earned a ton of respect with how good they've been this year, but I think what we're seeing is teams are going to come in. If you're Golden State or LA across from them in the first round, you're not going to be afraid. You're going to be thinking, all right, we're going to show these guys. They haven't been there, done that. There's no Warriors, Dynasty Warriors group hanging over this conference in that way. Now, teams that can win the West, it's probably more like 6. And then teams that can win the finals, I think there's 4. I think it's the teams that are the top 4 right now in the conference should feel like, yeah, if we get to the finals, we have a real chance. So that'd be Denver, Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and the LA Clippers. Not that, the Suns or the Lakers or the Warriors, if they were to make it through, would be like, well, that was enough. That's enough for us. Like, of course, they're going to believe they can win, but those top 4 teams, to me, have just separated themselves from the rest enough that I believe in them a little bit more.
You mentioned the Warriors in there, and they have been on a real tear lately. I think out of their last 11 or so games, they've only dropped 2. They moved Klay Thompson to the bench, and for the most part, has been playing really well in that role off the bench. Chris Paul returned in that last game against the Wizards and played really well. What have you seen lately from this Warriors team, and do you think it's time to start looking out for them? Brett's been saying that for a couple weeks now. Do you think it's time to put the Warriors on notice?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know that they're going to be anybody anyone wants to draw in the play-in tournament.
Right.
Because in a one-game elimination scenario, going against Steph Curry is terrifying. If he has a game where he scores 50 or 60, you're probably going to lose. That's just the reality, and we all know he definitely can do that. And I think the lineup changes, they've just brought more life to them to open games. You got Brandon Pajemski, he's just kind of all over the place, doing a lot of different things. Jonathan Kuminga brings a ton of energy and really runs the floor hard and plays really hard that way. So I think they have really made those changes. And I think Klay Thompson, I love how kind of candid and raw he's been about this, about, hey, this has been hard, and I didn't really want to do it. But then I thought about Manu Ginobili and how nobody thought less of him because he came off the bench. He was still an all-star, still a great player, still a Hall of Fame level guy. So why not me? And I think for guys like Klay Thompson, even a guy like Chris Paul, I think if they really can embrace these roles off the bench, whether it's with Golden State long-term or not, it might be with another team after this year. But I think those guys may look at it and say, hey, you know what? I can add an extra 2, 3, maybe even 4 years onto my career because this just takes a little bit of wear and tear off me. I only need to play so many minutes now, and I can just kind of come out here and do my thing. And I think that's a chance for them to kind of reinvent themselves as their career goes along. It's the big example I always use in the last 3 years was Carmelo Anthony. For years it was, I'm a starter. Then it was, hey, the league has told you, you're not a starter anymore. You can either be out of the league or you can come back as a bench guy. He reinvented himself, came back as a bench player, and he ended up getting another 3 or so years out of his career, and 3 pretty good productive years too.
Keith, right before we reached out to you at the end of our first hour, about 3:55 our time, 4:55 your time, and I know you were listening live to the live stream, we were talking about Dalton Connect at Tennessee. The number of times I think we're probably going to ask you this between now and first round draft night, how deep is this draft?
It's very deep in good players who will crack NBA rotations. It is not deep in superstar, surefire all-stars. Now, that said, 3, 4, 5 guys, they will become all-stars out of this draft class. They may not be every year type all-stars, but that's just how it works. And as we get deeper into the draft process, some guys are starting to emerge, and you're starting to hear from people in the league, you know, I kind of like that guy. I kind of like this guy. And you're starting to get 5, 6, 7, 8 names of different players who people are starting to come around to and think of as, all right, that guy's a little bit better than what I thought he was. I'm kind of on board with player X. So I think now what we're seeing is this is not last year or the year before. It was a loaded class with, a whole bunch of guys that everybody loved for a year or more. It's not even next year's class, which has some superstar guys in it. But this year, you're starting to see rounding to form a little bit here. And the guy you mentioned, Dalton Connect, is a guy. Scouts were kind of maybe late first round, probably second round guy coming in. But now you're starting to hear a lot more people say, he could maybe be a late lottery guy. He's probably going to be a guy who's probably a top 20 pick because he can do a lot of things that NBA teams look for.
Who are 2 or 3 college players with March Madness, with March beginning tomorrow and tournament starting on Monday, and then, of course, the NCAA tournament? Who are 2 or 3 players that could have that big march and really rock it to the top of the draft?
Yeah, a guy who immediately comes to mind is Cody Williams from Colorado. Mm-hmm. He can have a nice run through the conference tournament, and then I don't know where they stand as far as are they going to definitely be a team in the NCAA tournament or not. I haven't looked at that recently enough, but he's somebody I know a lot of people like. He is Jalen Williams, the wing, Jalen Williams in Oklahoma City. That's his brother, and he's somebody that people like quite a bit. I know he's been a popular guy, somebody that people really like. And then, over at Kentucky, I think a guy like Justin Edwards, Rob Dillingham, those are guys who can make real runs this year in the NCAA tournament. Even a guy like Kyle Filipowski at Duke is somebody. And then Zach Edey is somebody that when this draft cycle started for this year's draft, he was pegged as a mid-second round pick. Mm-hmm. Now you have mock drafts that are saying maybe even a late lottery pick. So he's somebody, if he can come out for that Purdue team and just absolutely dominate and carry them deep into the tournament, he's going to be a guy. And then Stephon Castle and Donovan Clingan from UConn are two other guys that can have really big runs in the NCAA tournament. A guy like Tristan Newton, who a lot of people aren't really high on getting drafted at all, he could also be a guy who could push himself into draft status. And a lot of times, March Madness ends up a real launching point for some guys who are kind of on the fringes of the first round or on the fringes of getting drafted at all. They can push themselves into real contention if they're just kind of in front of everybody for a roughly a month-long period between conference tournaments all the way through the tournament.
Yeah. Keith, last thing for you. I know we're talking about this upcoming draft, but a player that was drafted last year who's played really, really well, Brandon Miller. This month, I was just looking at his numbers, averaging about 20.5 points in the month of February. His usage rate is going up. He's getting more minutes with the Hornets. What have you seen this year with Brandon Miller as he gets more adjusted to the NBA game?
Yeah, he's really come on strong and figured it out. And it's only the sickos like me who are loading up Hornets games at 7 in the morning that are really seeing it, right? It's, a lot of people are not. They stopped watching the Hornets months and months ago. Yeah. But he really is figured it out. The game has slowed down for him. He had a long way to go because he is, don't get me wrong, he's a good physically athletic player, but he is not somebody who's overwhelmingly built like Victor Wembanyama is, where he was built to be good almost, from the jump. Brandon Miller was going to have to figure it out, and the game was moving really fast for him at Summer League and then at the start of the NBA season. But what he's done now is they've slowed it down for him a little bit. The Hornets have started using him in different ways. They run some stuff for him where it's, let's try to get him easy shots, easy buckets. And now, as that's kind of grown, it's Steve Clifford and staff have said, let's put the ball in his hands more. Let's see what you can do running pick and roll. Let's see what you can do in isolation. Let's see what you can do as the kind of guy who's going to set somebody else up instead. It's really coming along nicely for him. And I think, that Charlotte team, they just hired Jeff Peterson as their new front office executive. He's going to run things there. They're really kind of fresh start with that team, and Brandon Miller is going to be a huge part of whatever they build moving forward there in Charlotte.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've tried to catch a couple of games lately, but he has really come
I'm going when they come. I think they come here March 13th. I'm going because I want to see them in this young, embryonic stage.
Absolutely. Well, Keith, as always, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Keith. Keith Smith with us every week, and we got it all there. We got this year's playoffs. We got a draft hit from him, and that's how good he is. He's got a really great handle on this league. It's going to be – there's going to be somebody out of March Madness. You mentioned the Colorado player. There's always one.
Sure.
That they might be 8th, 9th, 10th pick right now, have that tournament up to 3 or 4.
How about this, Brett? He mentioned Tristan Newton as a guy that could improve his draft stock with the tournament. I saw this last night. He just mentioned Tristan Newton. We were talking East Carolina earlier, and it's Leap Day. The last time UConn played on a leap day was in 2020, the last leap year we had. UConn played East Carolina, and the leading scorer for East Carolina is now UConn guard Tristan Newton. How about that?
That's double Lee Corso there.
Crazy. Someone posted that, and it was just a picture, and it said the last leap day we had, and it was a picture, or the last time UConn played on a leap day. And then it was just a picture.
And you know what happened about 2 weeks after the last leap day we had?
COVID.
The vid.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
Dang, that's crazy. I didn't think about that at all.
I had no idea.
I just forgot about it.
I'll go get my mask back out.
UConn versus East Carolina, February 29th.
Go and get a shot.
Tristan
no more
Newton,
shots.
leading scorer for East Carolina.
And all the shots. I got in line like everybody, but I've had enough shots. That is a good note.
Crazy.
And that's how odd the sport has become.
Odd all over the place. But yeah, now with
and eligibility.
UConn. Crazy.
That may be the definition, the example of COVID in sports.
I mean,
right
I could not believe when I saw that on Twitter last night.
That's
and like
a
I said,
great
it was
note.
just a picture of UConn, of the picture like from the ESPN broadcast, and Tristan Newton was at the free throw line. It was UConn, East Carolina, and then off to the side it said, East Carolina's Tristan Newton has, that time he had like 16 points. He was at the free throw line, and led the team in scoring for East Carolina, and now he's one of the best players on UConn's team.
Tonight we'll be game watching and enjoying the Tigers, and I know where you can enjoy it, stopping by right now for a really early dinner or something, maybe planning for tonight, get something to go. That's Jason's Deli. Wherever you are in our listening area, I guarantee you there's a Jason's Deli location close by you, like in Cordova, like in Olive Branch, over by the U of M at Poplar and Highland, or right here close to us over at Ridgeway Road, where some have said I live. I don't live there, but I'm there a lot, and I was there today, and it's always good, and it's always good for you. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, and it's also all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from, whether you're dining in, to go, or delivery. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and one thing out of COVID, out of the pandemic, Jason's Deli, like everybody else, had to improvise, had to learn, basically had to fight and scrap to stay in business, and they got it down with all the orders to go. It's something to be over there at noon and see all the orders that they're shipping out of there to people to make for their great lunches. They've got it down with the delivery, 5 or 5,000. Let them take care of you with a variety of delicious choices for breakfast, lunch, or dinners. The salad bar inside with over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like. Again, catering anytime, anywhere. And in all these locations, the complimentary free ice cream at Olive Branch in Cordova, over by the U of M, and at Ridgeway Road. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. Earlier today, the American Athletic Conference released their schedule for all the teams in the conference.
Now, we're not going W's and L's, are we?
No. But on the other side, we'll take a look at what 2024 looks like for the Memphis Tigers. That's next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. We can't wait to serve you.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590, Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to get this party started at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. Gossett's got your new Kia that gets 41 MPG highway. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Need extra room? How about a 2024 2023 Kia Sorento LX at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus, get peace of mind because with every Gossett Kia, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Our mission, to exceed your expectations, provide quality service with urgency, and be there for when you need us most. There is nothing more frustrating than a clogged drain, shower, kitchen, or toilet. They disrupt your life. But don't worry, Choate's is here to get those drains flowing again. With the latest tools, technology, and expert professionals, we're ready to tackle any clog, anytime. We also believe in the power of preventative maintenance, and now is the time to be proactive with Choate's $93 drain inspection. This special offer includes a camera inspection of your sewer with a full assessment of your drainage system. That's a $199 value now for only $93 this month. Give your family the peace of mind they deserve and prevent those unwanted clogs. Call us today at 347-8086 to schedule your $93 drain inspection. And remember, Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Hi, folks, the Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has acres of new Chevys and GM certified in stock, ready for immediate delivery. A $6 million used car inventory and cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $99.95. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in financing, and SunriseMemphis.com is home of guaranteed credit approval. Cars and trucks may not be free, but at least they're affordable at Sunrise. Together, let's drive to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit of stop-and-go action going on at times up through the construction zone, especially 55 north around Crump. It's not the worst we've ever seen it. Just be careful trying to get through that construction. They have changed a lot of things over the last week or so. Traffic's picked up even more with volume as we check it out live over here on 40 going eastbound as you pass Warford, Hollywood. It looks like 240 westbound wants to get a little bit heavy at times passing Walnut Grove. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's got to be Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We're going to talk about this Tiger schedule. But Brett, and I just saw it on my Twitter, it was reported earlier today, and shame on me for not bringing it up earlier when we were talking Tigers. No Malcolm Dandridge again tonight for the Tigers. He's still out. That investigation is still going on. We don't have any more information on anything that's come about it. They're still in the middle of that. But you will be down Malcolm Dandridge again, even though they looked good without him.
So Bluff City Media with their first reports of that late last Friday night.
That's right.
I don't know. It's pure conjecture on my part.
Mm-hmm.
They first probably sniffing around getting some type of that story late Thursday night, early into Friday.
I would say so, yeah.
So investigation by the University of Memphis and the compliance department probably a day or two before that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're 8 days into an investigation.
Yep.
The door hadn't been shut that there's nothing to see here.
No, not at all. And the kind of difference between...
I think you could be cleared in 8 quicker than
Absolutely.
I think this means
I think it does too. Another thing, I don't think it's too much to look into, but he didn't travel with the team to East Carolina. He was on the bench Sunday. Some people are trying to look into that. I don't think that's anything yet. Maybe it is. That sounds like a question for Greg in about 30 minutes.
That's exactly. We'll put all the pressure on Greg.
That's right. I don't want to. Look into it, but hey, maybe.
Perfect
I don't know.
segue.
So we'll talk to Greg about that at 5 o'clock. Get his thoughts
we'll make
on
him have all the answers.
That's right. The door is still being opened. But for the Tiger football team, schedule out today. I'll run through it.
We knew
real
the opponents.
Quick.
We knew some of the dates. Now we know them all.
Now we know it all. I'll run through it real quick, and then we'll talk about it. August 31st, home game against North Texas. September 7th, home game against Troy. September 14th, road game at Florida State.
Shock the world. I'm calling it now.
I would love that. September 21st at Navy.
Be real careful.
Real careful.
Real careful.
September 28th, home versus MTSU. October 11th at USF. That's a Friday night game.
October 5th. What is that?
That is your open date.
That is an open date.
Go. October 19th, home versus North Texas. October 26th, at home against Charlotte. November 2nd at UTSA. November 8th, home versus Rice, Friday night game again. November 16th, home versus UAB. And then the regular season finale on the road at Tulane, a Thanksgiving Day game this year.
And like just about everybody in college football, I would like to know who doesn't have 2 open dates next year. The Tigers will take their 2 open dates, Saturday, October 5th, and Saturday, November 23rd. And the very rare, first time since 1983, Thanksgiving game at Tulane on campus at Ullman. Makes me think, with what the Texas AD said a few weeks ago about Texas and Texas A&M will be the premier SEC game. Sure. That knocks the Egg Bowl off of Thanksgiving night. With ESPN contractually bound with the AAC, wonder what time they would put that game on.
Well, that's a really good question because,
would that be a 3 o'clock-ish leading into Texas and A&M? UT and A&M?
2:30 or something like that, lead into that 7 o'clock game.
But you're in the middle of the Cowboys.
Well, that's the thing. Me and John were talking about this earlier today
now the line's actually worth
you're kind of trying
staying
to
with the game the whole time.
Because you've got those 3 NFL games on Thanksgiving, and then you'll have the big night game in college
For what it's
football.
worth, last year the Egg Bowl did 3.3 million TV viewers on Thanksgiving night, just absolutely mauled by the end of the Cowboys game and the NBC game, or was it NFL Network on Thursday night?
It might have been NFL Network.
Yeah.
I don't remember, though. But no, it's going to be interesting to see where they put it. I mean, I think it would probably be better for ESPN to do kind of the 2:30 game leading into the night game, but they might think if you have a 11 o'clock kickoff for that game that might be better. I have no idea.
And around that time, usually a full kind of menu of some type of basketball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's
for the ESPN.
Feast week.
Yeah, Brian, you might be right about that, making it like a 11 o'clock game. That probably would be the best thing.
I don't know if I love that, but
because that's still early, but, man, that's probably the only way.
I'm open for Friday Egg Bowl. I would love for it to be 11 o'clock on Friday.
So
hey, that ain't bad, though, Brad. I approve of that.
Because now with all these teams in the SEC, you can't get everybody on.
Yeah. That's true.
It's
that
too
is
many
true.
games on Saturday. I think you need one on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's going to be UT and A&M. I think you need 11, 3, and 6 on Friday. And, that the mid-afternoon has been Mizzou and Arkansas lately.
Yeah.
I think, I like that.
One back-to-back road trip all year. 2 FSU next week, turn right around and go to the Naval Academy. That won't be easy.
No, that won't be easy.
That won't be easy for a lot of people.
Especially with all of the hype around that game. I mean, that's
especially how they play, too. They always give the Tigers a tough time.
What a contrast.
Well,
all those players for FSU.
Oh, yeah.
And then that system of Navy's.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you go from all
and
the
diving
hype
at your
of
legs.
the FSU game
Cutting
to
you.
how tough that Navy game always is. That's a really tough back-to-back.
Two very physical games.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And 2 games that you're going to have to approach, way different from one another.
Can the Tigers make the college football playoff with 2 losses? Can they, let's say, a loss to FSU and 1 more in the conference, but you win out 10-2 regular, win AAC championship game, would that top the other potential pool of people for the 12th seed?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I just don't know because we kind of saw a similar
I wouldn't
thing.
chance it.
I wouldn't chance it. We saw the
I
similar
wouldn't chance
thing
it either.
this year.
Better be 12-1 and make that committee have to leave you out.
Well, and we saw the same thing this year with SMU and Liberty. I mean,
Sure did.
A lot of people were saying SMU has one more loss, but they play in a tougher conference.
I thought they were better than Liberty.
Yeah, me too.
But they go with Liberty because of all of the wins. So I wouldn't risk it, but I'm not saying the
You can only
door's
afford
shut.
to lose one, and Brett's right. That's Florida State.
What about the road trips to the state of Florida, obviously with FSU, but that Friday night, October 11th, against USF.
Yeah.
USF is coming in football.
Oh, absolutely. And kind of that end of the season they had this year with the bowl victory. Was that over Georgia Tech, if I remember correctly? So a big win there. I believe they're bringing that quarterback back that just gave Memphis fits last year and gave a lot of teams fits.
Tiger schedule's tough.
Year. Yeah, that's a tough one on a Friday night. For sure. I'm excited. Brett, you know what game I circled immediately.
Charlotte.
When I saw that one. Charlotte coming to town. Biff Poggi coming.
October
to Memphis. I'm
26th,
excited
so
about that.
you don't need the 2 tickets I had for you on the 50
No,
for Ole Miss
no,
and OU?
I don't need
okay,
it.
Good.
Nope. I will be watching Biff Poggi take on Ryan Silverfield. Give me that. I did not know that was the same week as Ole Miss and Oklahoma.
It is.
Huh. Didn't put that together. I'm second guessing.
But maybe get an
Second
early
guess.
late.
Maybe
Tiger Charlotte 11, Ole Miss OU at 6.
I can do that. Traffic though in Oxford.
Oh, that's going to be
for
bad.
Oklahoma and Ole Miss.
Leave now.
Yeah.
That's going to be bad.
I don't
Parking
know.
lot from 5 o'clock Thursday on. West Jackson Ave.
That could be an issue for sure. But no, I think a very tough conference schedule for the Tigers.
It is. UAB will be better.
Yeah, UAB certainly better.
Texas San Antonio kind of always good.
And when
Tulane.
I think UTSA, that would be a fun road trip going down.
Would be
to UTSA and where they play would be I think a lot of fun. But
Riverwalk, Alamo Dome.
Yeah, no, I think difficult, but I think certainly with what you've seen, a lot of people talking about this Tiger team. I've seen a lot of national media people saying Tigers should be one of the, if not the best Group of 5 team. You're
They're
seeing
out
a lot
there.
of people.
They're on everybody's list,
putting them in that
Should
playoff and should be. And so I think the team that Ryan Silverfield has put together is quite capable.
And the
of
Friday
succeeding.
night American Championship game that could be at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Absolutely.
Friday, December 6th.
Yeah, and so and with that game at Tulane being that last game, Brett, we could be seeing that preview and kind of what we saw a couple years back when Memphis and Cincinnati met and then saw each other again in the championship game. You could see something similar to that with Tulane in that last game.
And the story from a couple of days ago, not for this year, I don't think for this year. It could be, though.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the bowl season starts kind of that third weekend of December. This year, it was that Saturday the Tigers played Clemson in basketball, like Saturday, December 16th. Well, we know this year on that weekend, there will be the playoff game on Friday and 3 on Saturday.
Right.
A lot of bowls are wanting to go early, and Army, Navy are scared they're going to want to come in to that weekend where they've been standalone for the last number of years. It hasn't always been that case.
Yeah. Oh, I would hate that.
I would too.
But I mean,
maybe they have to go to that day. Just don't go to that broadcast window.
Yeah, that or I mean, when bowl season rolls around, nobody's against playing games in middle of the week. Maybe you just have to start on a weekday. I don't think that's ideal, but
certainly that first Thursday and Friday.
Sure, yeah, I think you could do something there and avoid Army Navy, or like you said, if you go later.
We're going to have a stretch of football.
Oh, we sure are. I mean, I keep forgetting about the this year playoffs, expanded playoff start, and how that's going to kind of throw not a bad wrench into it, but it's going to certainly change
next year
things.
when it expands,
yeah,
we're going to have to work in even more.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. So it's going to be weird, but now we finally have the final schedule for the Tigers. No times yet for these games, but we will definitely get those in the future.
Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, as always, Jason Munns will join us. He's presented every Friday by the great people at Jim's Place Grill. He will be with us tomorrow to talk all things Tigers. He's already on the scene tonight in Greenville, North Carolina. We will visit with him tomorrow. Over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks at Jim's, over 100 years of great family time, celebrations, and lasting memories. The Terrace family, with their touch for our community, recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in grill. In every state, grill perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dinner hours, Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark with the hard work and the values and the dedication to their valuable, important diners, the Terrace family, they've created that memorable dining experience. The lunch menu with the staples like the souffle ma, the crab cakes, the shrimp cocktail, and those salad dressings, all homemade. And at dinner time, the soups, the calamari, the seafood, and those steaks, ribeyes, strips, fillets. Great bar area that you can enjoy the Tiger game from tonight. All at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. It's the Callaway Fitting Event happening February 19th through March 3rd. The new Callaway AI Smoke Driver has smart face technology with multiple sweet spots across the face. To reserve your custom fitting by Callaway representatives, swing into your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or book online at worldwidegolfshops.com. Get there.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, I have have two big numbers today.
Okay.
One is much smaller than the other, but neither are super, super big. In terms of the number, I think the meaning behind it is certainly big. I saw this graphic earlier. I was actually sent this graphic by one of my buddies. Rookies making an impact in the NBA. Net points added above an average player among rookies. So, Johnny, this is just rookies. Who do you think is leading this in points added this year in the NBA?
Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller, not on the list. Maybe think highly touted coming in.
Wemby.
Wemby.
It's not Wemby. Good guess. Not Wemby. Chet Holmgren. He's leading the way.
Bryant set us up for Wemby, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did.
He is leading the way. Victor Wembanyama also on this list, but way behind Chet. Only plus
Chet might be
17.
Rookie of the Year, but I don't know
Honestly,
about that.
Way to bring that up. When you talk about players making an impact, Chet Holmgren, what he has done to the Thunder team has been remarkable, and what he did with that injury last year, could have sat around and whatever. He was in the weight room. He was in the gym. You can tell he's bigger. He's got more size on him, something that Wemby does not have yet, and it is making an impact on the block for Chet and certainly making an impact for this Thunder team.
They got a lot of eating to do.
They
both
do.
Of them.
They sure do.
They do.
Very long. My other number that I'll throw out here real quick is the number 1. Very small number, I guess you could say. But today in spring training, we had the Pirates versus the Orioles, and we saw to start the game the 2023 number 1 overall pick on the mound, Paul Skeens, versus the number 1 pick in 2022, Jackson Holliday, who was the first batter. So that's number 1 versus number 1, with Henry Davis catching. He was the 2021 number 1 overall pick, and standing on deck, that's right, 2019 number 1 overall pick, Adley Rushman. So we had number 1 versus number 1 being caught by number 1, waiting on deck, number 1.
Skeens opening day with the Pirates?
That's a good question. He threw 1 inning today, looked good. I don't think he'll be opening day, but
Holiday opening day with those.
Yeah. I think so.
We know Rushman, we know.
Sure. But I would be kind of surprised not to see Skeens with the Pirates.
The last time the Pirates were in a World Series and won it was against those.
Wow, how about that?
We are a family. My big number is 70. Here's the last 4 times I've watched the Razorbacks in person.
Ooh.
Football against Ole Miss, they lost by 7.
Okay.
Football against Mizzou, they lost by 34. Basketball against Ole Miss, they lost by 26. And Tuesday night against Vanderbilt, they lost by 3. 7 plus 34 plus 26 plus 3 is 70.
Brett, I'm starting to think you're bad luck.
They might bar me from entry.
I think the one thing working in your favor is
next time I'll see them will be in November.
Well, Brad,
when I go with Ole Miss to Fayetteville.
I think one thing working in your favor is they've been bad in pretty much every
whether
other
I'm
game
there
you
or
haven't
not.
been
Okay.
in. But that certainly is something. They have not played well when you.
Oh, in my all-time Bud Walton Arena record goes to 27-2. Had won 27 straight. Lost the first time I ever went in to Bama with Latrell Sprewell and Antonio McDyess and company in 94, 27 straight till the other night.
And you didn't get trash thrown at you while you were walking out? People didn't say,
There wasn't anybody there. Wasn't anybody there to do it.
That's a good point, Brett. Who's going to throw it?
In fact, a lot of people left before kind of the frenzied comeback.
Really?
Arkansas had a shot at the horn to tie, to go to overtime. A wide open look right in front of us.
Yeah, and you're right. Vanderbilt had gotten kind of a lead that you kind of thought, okay, this one's over before a really late comeback from Arkansas. But, man, it's not great when the fans are leaving.
I've been at Bud Walton Arena for a graduation that had more people in it than the other night did.
Well, you hate to hear that, but that's just kind of how this year has been for Arkansas. It's not been a lot of fun.
Homahawks better come through.
Homahawks better come through. And looked good last week, but can they continue that throughout the season? We need to go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we've talked a lot of Tigers today, whether it be basketball or football with that schedule dropping today. We're going to talk more Tigers at the top of the next hour. Greg Gaston, he joins us next.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Memphis basketball takes on rival UAB Sunday at 4:30. Arrive early as we celebrate our seniors before the game and wear blue. Don't miss the final home game of the year. March is on the horizon, and we need you bringing the energy to FedEx Forum. Don't miss out on the game against renewed conference rival UAB this Sunday. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com/tickets. See you there and wear blue.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
It's time to get thunderstruck during Gossett Mitsubishi's spring sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Ready to get 43 MPG Highway? Check out the 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett, 18610 or $249 a month. Need extra room? 7-passenger seating in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE, $33,605 or $399.99 a month. And Gossett Mitsubishi's got sophisticated styling and comfort in 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $31,200 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage RH00591 MSRP 19110, Outlander RZO 19512 MSRP 34605, Eclipse RZO 10625 MSRP 317, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's starting to crank up again on 240 southbound here, trying to get out of the Midtown area, passing South Parkway all the way down to Norris as it gets heavier over here just in the last few minutes in that construction zone again. 55 northbound, traveling between South Parkway and Macklemore, working your way up towards Crump as traffic also increases now. 40 east from Sycamore View Road all the way up past Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston joins us now to talk Tigers. You can hear him every single morning with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. Greg, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to with you with a lot of news coming out, but I do want to start off with the Tigers' performance against Florida Atlantic on Sunday. A big home game, a great atmosphere. The Tigers come out, even though they don't have Malcolm Dandridge, a lot of people thought that could be the difference maker when you've got Vlad Golden on the other side, but the Tigers play really well, and they come out with a win. What really stood out to you in that win against Florida Atlantic?
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. Great to be back on with you guys. Well, what stood out was it was the game we thought it would be before the season started. When we looked at the schedule and we wondered when Memphis would play Florida Atlantic, we figured they'd play them twice. We marked down that particular date, and even though there's been trials and tribulations throughout the season for Memphis, and Florida Atlantic's played pretty steady, but it doesn't look like the team that went to the Final Four last year. At times they do, but not steady as well. We weren't sure what to expect, but we ended up getting the game that we thought we would get, a competitive game, great atmosphere, crowd was into it, and even without Malcolm Dandridge, like you said, Brian, not having him to go up against Golden, that meant less resistance against the big Russian. But I thought Memphis as a whole played their second straight really good game. They did so against Charlotte. They carried that over against Florida Atlantic, and I thought two things really stood out. I thought the communication was so much better on the defense, where you didn't have these voids where there was no communication going on switches and guys were absolutely wide open for threes. And the other thing was they protected the basketball about as well as they have all season long with just the 6 turnovers, and they forced Florida Atlantic into double-digit turnovers. So all in all, it was, again, what we had hoped for before the season kicked off.
Greg, it looks like no doubt we'll be without Malcolm Dandridge tonight, and I fear it will probably be for the rest of the year. And you mentioned Golden's big game on Sunday. When will it really be you miss Malcolm Dandridge?
Well, I think anytime you're playing a team that has size, and you're going to play Florida Atlantic again, and while Golden was perfect 9 for 9, I still thought Memphis did a pretty decent job with the guys like Naquan Tomlin stepping up, with Nicholas Jourdain, and then with Jaquan Walton. Even Jaquan Walton from his wing position defended Golden and some of their other bigger players at times during the game. And again, it's weird to look back and go, well, the guy went 9 for 9, and he was their most consistent offensive player. But I thought, again, that those guys gave Memphis a good a shot in the arm for not having Malco. But to answer your question, Brett, it's when they play these big teams again, and who knows what will happen if they win the conference tournament, right, get into the NCAA. If they face a big front line, you don't have Malco, that's a problem if the game is called closely. Because if you get into foul trouble, then you're really going to be hurting on that front line. In this particular game, you had Jourdain with 3 fouls. You had Tomlin with 3 fouls. You can live with that. Walton ended up with 4, but none of them fouled out trying to really get physical, which it's probably a bad idea to try to do so with a guy as big as Golden, but I thought they did well. But that's when it could come back and sting you. I'll be real curious to see when they play that game. And even UAB's got some size on Sunday.
Lindenborg, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So they got some size. But I'll be real curious to see when they have the return game in Boca a week from Saturday.
And the Tigers have to win them all, don't they?
They have to win every one of them, Brett. No question about it. I asked Jerry Palm on Wednesday, who comes on our show, as you know, weekly, and I asked them if they win the 3 straight to end the regular season, get to the championship game of the tournament, lose in a close one, can they still be in that at-large discussion? He didn't laugh me off the stage, but he said it's still going to be extremely tough. So that's the mindset. You have to win all these games.
I saw, obviously, Jason Munns. A lot of people have been reporting it today that Malcolm is not going to play tonight. And that one thing that I've seen some people try to point out that stood out to them is that Malcolm did not travel with the team to East Carolina. Does that mean anything to you? Do you think there's something behind that? Or do you think it's just he didn't go to this game and there's nothing really to read into that?
Well, I mean, conspiracy theorists will read into it any way they want, but basically, in my opinion, was that they're still investigating, and they found nothing new to exonerate him. So obviously, if they haven't found anything to exonerate him, you can't bring him on the trip and you can't play him in the game. So I think that's what the case is. Now, I tend to believe, because it has lingered, that there's probably fire where that smoke is. And I'm going to, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't want to lay down this bet because it's against the Tiger here in this case, but I would bet that he's done and we won't see him again. And of course, Sunday's Senior Day, which is weird because he was honored last year as a senior, and we didn't know if he was going to come back for another year of eligibility, and then he came back with that decision late in the summer. So I don't know if he's on hand. I don't know what's going to happen on Sunday for UAB for that final home game, but it is Senior Day. But right now, I think it's going to be tough. Now, what worries me is that I thought it would be quick.
Yeah.
And now it's lingered into Thursday. Nothing new today as of now. So I guess the guess is it will linger into at least Friday. This isn't investigating the Kennedy assassination. I can't imagine it's going to take too much longer. But the longer it goes, it worries me in the sense that maybe it's more than one, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a basketball player. It could be other athletes involved if that's the case. But it may just be this rogue incident, and if it is one guy, and it is Malcolm Dandridge, it's a sad day for Malco. But I think it would be the best case scenario, other than him being exonerated, for Penny Hardaway, that program, and really the athletic department, because what you do not want is a scandal where there's a bunch of athletes involved, and we have not heard word one that it's more than anybody else other than the rumors that we've all read.
Our guest is Greg Gaston. He's from the Tiger Sideline, and he's brought to you every week by Jim's Place Collierville, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, law offices of Stephen Leffler, and Neil's Bar and Grill. You're right about on containing it to one person, and that original Bluff City media story said it could include other sports. I don't know how this could be put at the feet of any coach in the department, Penny Hardaway or volleyball or baseball or football or any other sport. But, Greg, we know it will be because they are ultimately in charge. If it stays at just Malcolm Dandridge on the bigness scale, it's about a 1 out of 10. If it gets into other sports and it's more than Malcolm Dandridge, then it's really a big story.
Sure. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Obviously, first and foremost, you got to deal with compliance and the academic people that they have involved with that department that deal with the athletes. And, again, it may be one person, a rogue person that is involved. And, again, that's all rumor mill right now. We don't know. The only thing we know is Malco has been held out of one game, and tonight he'll be held out of the second game. That's all we know for sure. But, again, if it ends up being just Malcolm Dandridge did this on his own, then I don't think it's any worry about anything other than you lose your big guy. But if it's multiple players and multiple sports, then you got a scandal.
Greg, we've talked about this before in the past, but in that game against FAU, all of the Tiger starters played 30 or more minutes, and so you kind of saw that rotation, cut down a little bit, and obviously situational, and in a late game and a very close game against a team that you really want to go out and beat, you're going to play your star players more, you're going to play those starters more. But do you think we see something similar in terms of limiting that rotation tonight against East Carolina, or do you think we see what we've seen most of this season and really most of Penny Hardaway's time here, where you're seeing 10, 11, 12 guys play?
Yeah, I feel like every time I say, he's probably going to limit the rotation, he doesn't do it. But, yeah, you're right about that last game. Now, granted, Jaquan Walton, who didn't start the prior game, probably wouldn't have started again, would have come off the bench if it wasn't for the fact that Malco was out. So with Malco being out again, I think it's like you said, Brian. I think it's going to be more situational. You'll have a couple of instances. Joe Cooper will come in. He'll spell Jaquan. There'll be a couple of times when the bigs will need rest, and you'll bring in maybe Pierre for a few minutes, or what you'll do with Ashton. Certainly Jaden will get minutes. But and I don't know about Jordan Brown because of the back. He's been dealing with the back. And Jalen Young has been hurt with that bad wheel, and I'm not sure what his status is. but I still think it's going to be more now situational. If a player gets into foul trouble, things like that. But I think the big 5 or 6, if you want to include somebody off the bench, is going to get the bulk of the minutes from here on out.
Greg, I think the easiest path to the tournament is also the hardest one, winning it all in Fort Worth like they did last year. And that's easier this year because there's no Houston you got to beat this year. I still think this league is just really bad. Last night, another example of it. But if they don't do that and they don't go to the tournament and the whole accept or don't accept to the NIT, I think we're in camp don't accept, aren't we? Or can I speak for you, or is that accurate?
No, I think that's accurate because here's the thing. They wouldn't start off at home, and I know that if they were in it, they'd want to play home games. We have the regional. I don't know what the Grizzlies' schedule is, and you may not just want to go through that, plus the disappointment of where you were and the letdown. Memphis has had success in the NITs. We know Cal's won a championship. We know Penny's won a championship. But, Brett, I would tend to think that probably they wouldn't accept it, but I don't know. That's just me talking out loud here.
Yeah, that following week, that if they played in the NIT, that first week you're right about being displaced because of the NCAA tournament. That following week, the Grizzlies would be back home for the Lakers on Wednesday the 27th. That's really getting far-fetched. Also, this point about that. Let's go 1 year from today, Greg. So no tournament this year, no NIT, the disappointment. 1 year from today, what do you think the pulse of the fans will be for expectations around the Tigers?
Oh, gosh. It'll be palpable. They're going to insist on the NCAA tournament, and they're not wrong.
Just a bid or advancement?
No. Getting in and doing damage.
All right, second weekend, 2 wins.
No question about it. Yeah, I think people are more shell shocked.
Or else? Or
well, I'll get to that in a second. I think right now with this year, Brett, we'd probably have that same reaction, and we've had some, but not a ton. I think people are still shell shocked. They're still shell shocked that this team at one point was 10th in the nation.
I agree.
And now they're like, wait, we finish with a winning streak of what would be 5 in a row to end the regular season, and then win 3 and lose in the championship game, and we still can't get in as an at-large with some of those teams that are in the tournament or are going to get in the tournament? Yeah, that is the case. That is the situation. So they're still a little shell-shocked. But next year, you would be talking about certainly fans that would be crying for a change. And we know the situation with Coach Hardaway. He has a lot of years left on his deal. Nothing for those who have actually cried about it this year. That's not happening. It's not going to happen.
It's not. It's
this
just
year?
not. No. It's not. I don't think it's happening ever. He has 4 years left. A year from now, let's say a year from now, it's 19 and 13 and not going to the tournament. Well, he'll have 3 years left. He's got 4 left now. He'd have 3 left then. That's a lot of money, and do you really want to go through that for someone that is truly bigger than the program?
They're not going to fire him unless, again, these scandals, if something happens with this one, if something else arises, that's the only way I see something happen. Because, again, while this is extremely disappointing if you don't get to the tournament, that would be 6 years. Of course, one was the COVID year, and you would have 1 tournament win with a few appearances. But he's winning the 20. I know 20 is not like it used to be because there's 31 games in the regular season when you play those tournaments, those in-season tournaments. But you're talking about paying 2 coaches for 3 years unless you had some sort of buyout. Where's Memphis getting this money, first of all, if they wanted to do it? And I'm not saying they want to because they don't want to do it. But if it ever came down to that next year, Brett, and a god-awful year, that they're trying to raise $50 million to match Fred Smith's $50 million, the Smith family, for renovations to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, which hasn't even started yet. So they're raising money. They're strapped. They're not going to want to ever be in a position to have to pay 2 basketball coaches, obviously the new one that would come in and the old one that you would let go. I don't think you're going to see that. Hopefully for the Tigers fans out there, I mean, he'll get back to the NCAA tournament and win. And that's all going to be about finding he'll continue to use the portal. That's not going to change. That is not going to change. And I've said it before, I don't have a problem with doing what he's doing. It's that then it's up to you to be able to mold the team into a cohesive unit. And that's what frustrates me the most about this season, that it seemed like it was there at the beginning. I know those teams that he beat have been disappointing for the most part, but they still went out there and they won those games, and it looked good, and then they went in the tank, and now it seems like they're trying to fight their way out of it. It's been a very weird, unique year.
It has been, and back to that 2020, look, the whole college basketball world can say COVID. That year, Memphis was the 6th seed at Dickies Arena. I don't think they were going on a run that year with that seeding, so even that is less effective as it once was in the defense of him. But you're so right on bottom line. It's where we are, and I say it with no rancor, no animosity, no vengeance. He's not getting fired. He shouldn't be fired. I don't think he would ever be fired.
Everybody is pulling for Penny. Penny is a likable guy. I love being able to talk basketball with him before games on broadcasts that I do. So I really enjoy it. I like listening to him in press conferences because he speaks from the hip, or shoots from the hip rather, speaks from the heart. I like him. I like what he means. When you watch a greeting line at the end of the game and there's Penny freaking Hardaway leading your team, that says something. That means something. And we know what he means in the community. But eventually, bottom line is bottom line for anybody. For anybody that's coached. And, of course, all we have to do is think back to the late 90s with Larry Finch. But hopefully it won't come down to that. Hopefully they'll
Larry
figure
Finch
this
had
thing
won
out.
a lot more than this.
Larry had a lot of success, and then they made the change. It is not easy for an administration to do so. But, again, we're not there yet. Certainly not there yet. But the hypotheticals for next year, the original question, people will be up in arms a lot more than they are right now.
No, absolutely. We're talking to Greg Gaston. He joins us every single Thursday to talk Tigers. And earlier today, the American released the conference schedule for all of the teams. So we have the Tigers schedule now complete. We don't have times yet, but we do have dates and opponents. What did you make when you first saw the Tigers schedule for this year?
Well, we knew who the opponents were going to be. We just didn't know what days they'd play. If there'd be some Friday games. Interesting, they'll be playing on Thanksgiving Day.
How about that?
Welcome to the Egg Bowl world.
Exactly. So I'll be down in, God willing, down in New Orleans for Thanksgiving. It's a challenge, but certainly people expect Memphis to be right there. The talk of maybe being the Group of 5 representative is certainly something that is a possibility. And I know, Brett, you and I talked, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but didn't you make the early prediction they're going to go down to Tallahassee and win?
Closer than what the experts say.
Okay. So here's the thing. More than likely, they're going to lose to Florida State, but you never know. Right, you got to play the game. But if you lose to Florida State, that means you have to be not only the conference champion, but probably be the undefeated conference champion. In other words, not lose another game. Because it's going to be hard.
12-1.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for a 2-loss team to be that Group of 5 and that conference champion. Although it's possible, it's not impossible. But that's going to really put the pressure of winning every single one of these games. UTSA on the road, that'll be their first one down in San Antonio. This is the post-Frank Harris Roadrunners team. I'm not sure what to expect from them, but it is going to be a roadie. You had some close calls against UAB, North Texas. You get them at home. We'll see if South Florida is improved. You got to go down to Tampa. Navy, they've had Navy's number in recent years, so we'll see how Navy improves. But going to Annapolis is always a fun trip there. And Troy was great last year. I don't know what to expect this year, but that is a non-conference game that you will play at home. And look, you're expected to win those games, and you better win those games against the likes of Troy and Middle Tennessee State and North Alabama. But I think it's a solid schedule. Nothing shocking as far as the conference is concerned. And I think it'll be an interesting Thanksgiving, especially if the Tigers are in the position that they need to be the win and to get to the conference championship game and then possibly be in the mix for the 12-team playoff going into that Tulane game on Thanksgiving. That'll be a lot of fun.
It sure would be. Greg Jonah Dillon with great tweet and great information today, and he's so good on that beat and so good on anything he does for the commercial appeal, and noted that it's first Thanksgiving game since 1983. Here's the Tigers' schedule in 1983. They opened against Ole Miss and blasted Ole Miss. That was Billy Brewer's debut as head coach at Ole Miss. Tigers won 37-17. Week 2 at North Carolina. Week 3, Virginia Tech. Then at Alabama, home against Tulane, Southern Miss at home, at Vandy, at Mississippi State, at Cincinnati, home against Arkansas State, and Thanksgiving against Louisville.
Oh, my.
6-4-1 for Rex Dockery, and he was sadly killed about 3 weeks later in the plane crash.
Oh, my gosh. 6-4-1 with that schedule. And I don't know the team. I'm not going to pretend that I knew all the players on that team. But, my gosh, that's pretty impressive. That's a tough schedule.
It really is. That's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. You're right. But what do fans want? They want wins, but they also want very attractive schedules, home schedules, so they can see big-time opponents come in. So they want both. They want the best of both worlds, and that's understandable, right? You're going to pay your hard-earned dollars. You want to see your team win, but you want to see them play somebody significant.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't know yet when spring practice officially begins for the Tigers. We know when the spring game will be, a Saturday game this year rather than the Friday night that we've gotten kind of used to. What's something you're going to be paying attention to for the Tigers this year at spring practice?
Well, I want to see that new running back from South Carolina, Anderson. I want to see what he can do, combining him with Sutton Smith and a couple of other guys. They got some big shoes to fill in what Blake Watson provided last year for Memphis. Get used to, I guess, Seth Hennigan's fourth number in 4 years.
Yeah.
There'll be a few more skill position
the Joey
players
Dorsey of football, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, they'll bring in.
Joey changed names and numbers, didn't he?
Did he change names?
Richard. He was Richard as a freshman.
Oh, that's gosh, hilarious. Your memory is unbelievable. That is absolutely right. I was thinking, did he go Sharif Abdur-Rahim or did he go?
No, just Richard and Joey. No. He ran the dive play and name changes.
There you go. But as far as the skill position, they got some receivers coming in that I want to take a look at. Those type of things. Sure. They have to replace now a running backs coach with Sean Dawkins, according to Jonah and other outlets reporting. Frank Bonner also reporting that he's going to Cincinnati, so that's going to have to happen. I expect spring practice to start in a couple weeks, and then I'm looking forward to the game. I never heard why they moved it to the Saturday afternoon from the Friday night.
That's a good question.
I haven't really
guess. I haven't either, Greg. I would guess just simplicity in any construction, any equipment. Yeah. Daytime better than nighttime.
See, that's what I was thinking, Brad. But I'm wondering, the way it's going right now, hopefully we see some cranes and bulldozers
the wrecking ball
and dump
moving.
Trucks. Yeah, let's get going on this thing. So hopefully by the time the spring game comes along, they will already be underway. But if not, that's people are going to wonder what's going on here. But yeah, that's probably the reason. Instead of doing it at night, people walking around there at nighttime and driving parking lots at night.
Somebody
all that
stumble
stuff
into a wrecking ball.
Right, exactly. Rather have it on Saturday afternoon. So that makes a lot of sense.
Are all the Showboat games daytime games?
That's a good question. I
don't know.
Don't know either.
Don't know. I'm going to guess. I mean, it seemed like everyone was daytime last year. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think there was one night game, and it was particularly cold that game.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of afternoon games, a lot of 11:30 games for the Showboats.
Yeah.
I like those. I don't know if the fans
I love
like
them.
those. Yeah,
early's never a problem for us, is it, Greg?
Anything in sports, if you can get it going early, it's fantastic. Like, for example, you do Ole Miss. You don't want to wait around all day on the road in the hotel or even going in. You want to get those games going.
And, Greg, I like to get started early in September. And I like to start at 11 o'clock, so if that one thunderstorm over DeQueen, Arkansas doesn't stop the game.
That's right.
When we had that rain delay a few years ago in Oxford, about a 2-hour rain delay against Tulsa, that people had to apply sunscreen during it. The sun never disappeared.
No, safety first, though. It's the Rock's throw to the Queen, man. So you got to,
I know.
If there's lightning in the Queen, there's going to be lightning in Memphis.
That's
You
right.
gotta watch out.
That's right. If it's bad in D Queen, you better look out.
I just pulled up the Showboat schedule. Only 2 night games the entire season. Only one of those, a home game on June 2nd, a 6 p.m. kickoff.
Well, that would be
what I said. Yeah,
with
I figured
construction
that.
equipment. I hope the wrecking ball's moving by June 2nd.
I sure hope so, too.
Man, oh, man.
Would not be good if it hasn't. But, Greg, as always, thanks so much. Always a ton of fun catching up with you, and we'll do it again next week.
Thank you,
Sounds
Greg.
good, guys. Take care.
Greg Gastney joins us every single week to talk Tigers. As always, you can listen to him every single morning on this station with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg.
It's time
and
to get the
Eli.
construction going, isn't it?
Well, yep, it would be ideal.
time.
Way past time, I think.
Now, in fairness, with a lot of the winter weather, I don't know how much they could have gotten done to this point.
Yeah.
Because it was very, very rainy and cold and snow in January.
But
very dry February, though.
We're getting to the point where weather's
But I'm
getting
no
much better.
meteorologist.
I'm no meteorologist. I'm also no.
But hell, I know when it rains or
not. I also don't know much about construction, so I'm probably not the person.
I know
to
even
ask.
less about construction than I do
so
meteorology.
I am the last person. I think we are the last person to talk about when they should be doing.
I'm kind of a
construction.
weather buff.
Are you really?
Yeah. 2 inches of measurable rain in February in my gauge.
How about that? Wow.
10 in January. So a foot this year.
Johnny, you bring.
I love it, man. I love
the
it.
rain gauge out. Throw the records.
I love it.
At that point, it's all in the past. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that you're the weather expert. I'll be calling you next time.
But I don't have 5 live Dopplers.
No.
I mean, who does?
I mean, it's great. Great point. Great point. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to WUcars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
Hi, this is Kiari Kane, the point guard at the University of Memphis women's basketball team. Do you like to be rewarded for shopping? Are you looking to transfer your high-interest credit card balances? For a limited time, you can transfer your balance to a Southern Security Rewards Visa and get $2 for each dollar transfer on your balance. Plus, no balance or transfer fees. Do not miss out. Apply today. Southern Security is a proud supporter of University of Memphis Athletic and 901 Women. Southern Security, your home team credit union.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
Chris Price,
It's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 722-812, MSRP 21,590, Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33010, Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to get this party started at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. Gossett's got your new Kia that gets 41 MPG highway. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Need extra room? How about a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus, get peace of mind because with every Gossett Kia, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's really starting to get busy now on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Just that normal buildup over here right now on 240 East up by Walnut Grove towards Sam Cooper. It remains heavy down through South Haven, but it's moving. Let's keep it that way on 55 southbound as you slide on down into DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry located at 7525 Highway 64. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. About 30 minutes left until tip-off in Carolina between Memphis and East Carolina. Brett, Johnny and I talked about this yesterday. We kind of got the breaking news right before we got off the air, but we're kind of learning a little bit more about it. Ross Dellinger from Yahoo was the first I saw to report yesterday this new idea. We talked last week about the 14-team playoff that has been talked about by the college football playoff. Now we're learning that with this 14-team playoff idea, that it would grant 3 AQs to each the Big Ten and the SEC, 2 AQs to each of the Big 12 and the ACC, 1 for the group of 5, and then 3 at-large spots to fill out that 14-team bracket. Today, Ross Dellinger, about almost an hour ago, tweeted out in the most circulated version of the proposed 14-team college football playoff model, champions of the SEC and the Big Ten would be guaranteed the 2 first-round buys, sources tell Yahoo Sports. What do you think of this idea now that we're getting more information of the 14-team?
I don't love it, and I see our friend Pat Smith, and I was on with him today on Jocks, and Pat and I are simpatico on, out of 100 college football issues, we're probably simpatico on 95 of them. We're not on this one. He said he has tweeted and he voiced on his show on Jocks today that the SEC and the Big Ten are flexing. I respectfully disagree. I think if they're flexing, it would be 4 spots each. I don't like this. I don't like any spots. I want 14 at larges. I know the champions of the little guy are going to go, hey, what about us? I think if we went back and you saw, and Bruce Marshall is doing this for past years in college football, I think most of those years they would have a spot. Central Florida.
I think so.
Boise once upon a time. Even Utah way back once upon a time. Maybe not UConn the year they went to the Fiesta Bowl, but a South Florida with Jim Leavitt might have been in there. Memphis, the Cotton Bowl year, I think would have been accommodated. I want the 14 best teams in there. I don't know that I want, kind of odd, even gas rationing.
Yeah, no, I don't think I do either. Ross Dellinger also tweeted out kind of what it would look like with teams in it. And so this is what, I guess this was last year, I would assume, with those teams. But they do have Oregon State as the group of 5 representative, which kind of throws a quirk in it. But I
think the year he used was 2014.
Is it 2014?
In the tweet, I think.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't see that in the tweet, but
maybe so.
This tweet, and maybe he tweeted out 2014 earlier. This says 2023 14-team college football playoff
Oregon
bracket
State,
might look like. Well, yeah, I guess because no Pac-12 in there, so I guess he just puts them as. So this is how it would look. One would be Michigan for the Big Ten. One for SEC. This is all out of whack. He has Texas for the SEC, which I guess Texas coming. Whatever. So that would be the 1 and the 2. You would have the 8-9 game between Oregon and Missouri. 5-12 would be Florida State and Penn State. 13-4 would be Oklahoma State and Alabama. On the other side, 7-10, Ohio State, Arizona. 6-11 would be Georgia and Louisville. And then the 14-3 would be Oregon State representing the group of 5 and Washington.
So that's using last year as the starting point. Well, Ole Miss would have been in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand this one.
Because they finished in the college football playoff, the last one. Yeah. Before the Peach Bowl, they were inside that. Anyway, Ross Dellinger has a good handle on it. I don't want to get too nitpicky with him. And there's a lot of those brackets flying around, and there will be even more. So we're not going to be at 12 long.
No. It sounds like, I talked with Brent about this earlier this week of, I almost kind of wish we would get to 12 first and then see what that looks like.
Let it marinate a little.
Money is going to determine this, and they obviously see more value.
It will, and they're going to have to play those games a little earlier, and that's going to put the pressure on the pre-Christmas bowl games, which will impact Army, Navy as that standalone. It's really going to change the calendar for sure. Now, 6 years is what they're talking about for this deal, right? Starting with 14. Yeah. One thing the College Football Playoff Committee and before that the BCS did, they love going out through the life of a contract.
That is true.
So when you most are saying, well, as soon as they get to 14, they'll go to 16. Not so fast. I think if they go to 14, whatever contract they sign, if it's 5, it'll be every bit of 4 years. If it's 6, it'll be every bit of 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting, but it seems like this is moving fast, and they're trying to get something on the table, something finalized. And I would be shocked if we didn't have some idea of what things are going to before we start the season in August.
Yeah, and a lot of meetings, and it's time to make those decisions, sign those TV contracts, and get a schedule set, because just the two buys, and that's what they would be.
Yeah.
They would be a bye. It wouldn't be an open day. It would be a bye. That's like the NFL with the 7 on one side, 7 on the other. You just have the top of the conference getting one, and we'll see if it incorporates more bowls or it would be more of a campus flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So I guess we'll see. I'm sure with how this news has been going, I'm sure we'll get more news about it next week and or at least some updates on the conversations that are being had behind the scenes. We also today learned a lot about SEC Media Days this year. Going to start Monday, July 15th and go through Thursday, July 18th. LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vandy will go day 1. Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee will go day 2. Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State, Texas on day 3. And then we'll wrap up with Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. And I continue to laugh every time I see something with Oklahoma and Texas a part of the SEC because it's for real now.
And for Kalen DeBoer, the first time that he will be at SEC Media Days, and it will be at Dallas, and it will be on the same day that Steve Sarkisian in Texas will be be presented. And Sark, many think, had a shot at the Bama job and passed on it.
Sure.
And very comfortable at Texas.
Yeah, and so it's going to be, talk about a lot of new at SEC Media Days between Oklahoma and Texas, and Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, Jeff Lebby. You've got Mike Elko at Texas A&M now. It's a ton of new this year with the SEC.
Eli Drinkwitz and Lane Kiffin certainly looked at differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will be looked at differently this year than in last year because almost all those mock brackets from everybody out there doing them, they have Mizzou and Ole Miss in there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And so those are going to be, Brett.
Pressure's on. Easy to talk. We're going to be in the playoffs in February.
Oh, everybody talks that in February. And everybody's going to be talking that at Media Days in the middle of the summer.
Let's see 10th of November.
Yeah. But it is going to be interesting.
It'll be different then.
It'll be a lot different.
The difference we've seen in just 1 year in terms of Missouri. We at Media Days last year, we were having the conversation.
Might be in a little trouble.
Might be trouble. Could he be the first coach fired in the SEC? And now we're talking, this is a team that can make some noise and be in that first 12-team playoff.
And I think Auburn needs a big 2024.
Yeah.
I don't think Hugh Freeze could stand a 5-7, 6-6 year.
And
I don't know if they would put up with it and go very much further with him.
Have you been a little...
That makes sense, Brett. That makes real sense. That makes a lot of sense.
They're very impatient to begin with, and it just didn't show a lot of signs this year.
Have you been a little surprised that Auburn didn't go out and get a quarterback this offseason? Because I feel like that's what we were saying last year.
It's not over yet, though.
Well, that's a really good point.
That is true.
It's not over yet.
Because don't it reopen?
After spring.
Yeah, after spring.
When does it ever close?
That's a good point.
24 hours.
It really does. And you're going to have, after spring, you could even have summertime movement.
Sure.
And Auburn's bringing in a very highly touted, arguably the number one high school player last year in Arkansas, Walker White from Little Rock. But that's a lot to ask him to throw him in there opening day.
But that is what we saw last year with Auburn, where they went through the spring, and then after that was when they brought in Peyton Thorne kind of in the summer. So
Auburn opens against Alabama A&M and then Cal on the Plains. Then New Mexico, not New Mexico State. Shouldn't New Mexico go in with signs, we're not New Mexico State?
Maybe. But, man, I'm sure you got a lot of people having nightmares when they see anything with New Mexico in it after what happened last year.
You know, Bryant, through the years, being around me and hearing me talk, in my years at Ole Miss, it's hard to rank your favorite players that you've been around. But I say it all the time. Dexter McCluster's way up there, and Bo Wallace is way up there. You let Hugh Freeze go through another bumbling, stumbling year at quarterback, and it's another example for all the criticism that Bo took, good Bo, bad Bo, and, great hair, average arm, all that stuff. You go back to the Hugh Freeze years at Ole Miss, 2012, 2013, 2014, 39 straight starts for Bo Wallace.
Impressive. Really impressive, and I don't know if
one of my favorite people.
Yeah, no, I've heard that, and Dexter McCluster, those two, I've heard a ton about. Those are my favorite guys. Yeah,
and now Jackson Dart's right there in that group, and J.J. Pegues is in that group. There's a lot through the years.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the trouble you get in when you start naming names. I won't get in trouble for naming these names. 2 great locations for the commissary. The new Collierville Commissary at Houston Levee and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. I hope you're heading to one of the 2 right now to dine and to enjoy the Tigers night. Plenty of space, perfect for a big group at the Collierville Commissary for you to get in front of the TVs there for that Memphis-style barbecue and the ribs cooked the slow-cooked Memphis way. Craving easier way to order? Text right now, commissary to 33733. They'll bring it out to your car for you. Start with all the appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, the barbecue nachos, invented, created in the early 80s at the Germantown Commissary by Walker Taylor and his staff. Then dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich, all the sides, slaw, beans, deviled eggs, bread as well, and you can even order it by the pound, or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack, and save room for desserts, a challenge I know, like the best lemon icebox pie anywhere, the strawberry cake, the terrific banana pudding. Here's the number, 901-754-5540, but go online at commissarybbq.com. They're in Collierville and Germantown with the party areas, the orders to go, catering, tailgating, basketball season, any time of year. Perfect for the commissary. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590. Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Get ready for the live tennis event of the year, the Netflix Slam, on March 3rd at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Join 22-time Grand Slam champion and tennis legend Rafael Nadal as he takes on world number 2, Carlos Alcaraz, and witness a tennis showdown like never before. This live Netflix sports event promises unparalleled tennis action, so don't miss the thrill. Mark your calendars for March 3rd, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. It's Game, Set, Match on Netflix.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today at the young age of 39 years old, LeBron James still has it. Last night, what he did against the Clippers was unbelievable. I flipped that game on.
It was.
It was in the third quarter.
Remarkable.
Clippers were doing their thing.
Made you stay with it.
Start the fourth quarter. They're up 21. I have it on the background. I'm not paying much attention. Then I hear
same thing.
LeBron James.
Here he comes.
LeBron James.
Here he comes.
LeBron James. I'm going, wait a minute. Here's a run.
He moves the needle.
He does. In that comeback last night, I mentioned it earlier, 19 points. He was 7 for 12 from the field.
And was
5
cooking.
for 8 from 3, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And that doesn't even mention what he was doing on the defensive end of the court. Came up with some major plays defensively that led to that Lakers win. It was just so much fun to watch.
I learned last night it was a big dud of a defensive performance by Ole Miss, and that's supposed to be one of the strong suits of Chris Beard, and it didn't show last night. You can talk about Bama got red hot. They made 15 threes. But you score 88 points and you lose by 15 at home? That's poor.
Yeah, no, that is very poor. What I could have done without today, hard to believe. Yesterday, Johnny, we talked about the NFLPA putting out their team grades for all the teams, a bunch of different. Here were the categories they were going off of. Treatment of families, food and cafeteria, nutritionists and dietitians, locker room,
Bengals
training
have to be
room,
up there.
training staff.
Paul Brown's one of the cheapskates all
time.
Very cheap.
Strength coaches, team travel, head coach, ownership. So they got grades for all of these teams. Today, The Athletic turned it all into a GPA. How about that?
That's
Brett?
amazing. That's amazing.
Team with the best GPA, that'd be the Miami Dolphins with a 3.94 GPA
That's
on
really
all
good.
of the grades.
That's valedictorian.
Yeah,
The team with the worst, back-to-back champions, Kansas City Chiefs with a 1.2.
The Chief culture's that bad?
The Chiefs got a D+ in treatment of families, a C- in food and cafeteria, F for nutritionists, F for locker room.
Is this for visitors?
D for training room, F for training staff, C+ for weight room, C+ for
Well, I know in the
strength of
lobby they
coaches.
got 2 Lombardi trophies
The only
from the last
thing
2
they
years.
got higher than a C+ was head coach. They got an A+. Other than that, all season
Is
low.
this for visitors
No,
or
this is for players
I
of
wonder
the
where
Chiefs.
Cincinnati ranked.
Cincinnati, I can give
That's
you their
amazing.
GPA. Cincinnati,
Because he's notorious tightwad.
Bengals.
He shines pennies at night for a hobby.
I
He's so
believe
tight.
it. I believe
I
it.
don't even see the Bengals in here.
Washington's in there.
2.12 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Not a
Well,
great
they barely
GPA.
passed.
Yeah. Washington was second last, 1.36.
I'm just shocked that the Chiefs are that low.
I was too. I was shocked. That's why I could have done without it. Back-to-back champions, but
Wow.
sounds like the facilities are not good.
I could have done without. I just can't do it anymore with anything Texas A&M. It's all hocus pocus with them. Whether it's football, no big deal there. Basketball, even less. No team 15-13 deserves any consideration for any tournament, much less the NCAA tournament. Swept by Arkansas. That should say enough. Home loss to Memphis. Home loss to Ole Miss. Road loss at Vandy. You're not a tournament team.
No, and that's where I always stand with the expansion of the tournament is really how many teams are there that are missing it that we really need?
I'm slightly for Mark Wise's second date.
I like that.
But I'm not for 96.
No, absolutely.
And it makes me agree with Jay Billis.
How about that? Well, at least you don't agree with rounding up everybody and arresting them if they storm the
No
court.
kidding.
that was bad. Oh, where are you beaming tonight?
To hear people say it, you need the beaming machine to get there.
Yeah.
Get me to ECU to the Menges.
Oh, that's a really good one. Beam me there, but then later tonight, beam me out to the West Coast for this Gonzaga and San Francisco game. Gonzaga comes in 22-6 on the year. San Francisco not far behind, 22-7. Should be a heck of a game on ESPN.
2 NCAA tournament appearances ever for ECU, 1972 and 1993. Tigers coming up in about 6 minutes, 7 minutes max. Must win for any at-large bid. I'm with you on Gonzaga at San Fran. San Fran with that 54 net. 8 NBA games. If LeBron gets 40 tonight, that's $40K.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. Just what he has done. But a really good night.
40,000 points.
I can't even fathom it. But really good night in college basketball. Really good night in the NBA. A lot of really good hoops. Let's see what the Tigers do coming out. Do they come out strong? Or are they kind of slow like we've seen at times on the road this year? Well, that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.